Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Dogs need that kind of toughness in every game in this league.
Your emotions are as sky high as they ever will be.
It's not just another game.
And he's a big play kind of guy.
A terrific day of football ahead.
This is the NAPA Tailgate Show.
And the fans are ready for it.
Take out your Richter scales because Georgia is going to run out of the tunnel.
On the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. Welcome to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. The NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show is brought to you in part by Kroger, fresh for everyone. Georgia's own credit union, banking on purpose. Georgia Farm Bureau, always the home team. And by Georgia United Credit Union. Score your official Bulldogs debit card today at gucu.org/GoDogs. Now to the Scana Energy stage. Here's Neil Hondo Williamson.
Ball's on the near hash, moving left. Two receivers to the short side, two to the wide side. Snap to Garantano. Here comes pressure. We got to get it. Sack and the ball's knocked out. Back picked up by Rice at the 20, the 10, the 5. Monty Rice. Touchdown.
Third-ranked Georgia's first foray into Tuscaloosa in 13 years tonight has been noteworthy since the moment the schedule maker announced the date of the battle. And not just for fans of these two powerhouse schools, nor solely for denizens of the SEC. Tonight's showdown between number 3 Georgia and the second-ranked Crimson Tide is going to draw interest and eyeballs of college football fans from Honolulu to Bangor, Maine, from Anchorage to Key West. And as if this game couldn't get any bigger for a regular season showdown, this week, COVID-19 added a supplementary layer of drama, not to mention a touch of discombobulation for Alabama, as Tide's head coach Nick Saban has been infected with a form of the virus. 3 negative tests since that initial diagnosis have cleared the way, however, and Coach Saban has been green-lighted for admittance, setting up a classic in the making, number 2 Alabama versus number 3 Georgia. And hello, Bulldog Nation, from the press box at Bryant-Denny Stadium, this is Neil Hondo Williamson. Welcome to the NAPA Tailgate Show. Joining me for the next 3 hours are the voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, legendary Georgia quarterback Eric Zier, and Bulldogs polymath Lauren Smith. And gentlemen, number 2 versus number 3, a rematch in a way of 2 gut-wrenching losses for the Dogs in the past 34 months. And after 3 days of will he or won't he, we have our answer. So we'll start with you first, Scott Howard. If you'll just speak to maybe the 10,000-foot view of what's gone on here in the Saban soap opera.
Does that mean they're watching this from space?
Sure.
Because I'm sure somebody is
tonight.
And yeah, on Wednesday when that news broke, I think it about broke the internet as well, because everybody suddenly became concerned with what was going to happen. Was Coach Saban going to be on the sidelines? Would records be intact? All of that stuff. And fortunately for him, a test on Thursday, a test on Friday, and apparently a test earlier today has proved negative, and so he's back where he belongs on the sidelines tonight. So all is calm here in T-Town, but I don't know that I've seen a story run off faster than the one that happened on Wednesday. Everything else was unimportant at that point. It's like, well, what's going to happen at the game on Saturday between Georgia and Alabama with no Nick Saban on the sidelines? It's like, well, that's not going to be the case after all.
I'll tell you exactly what I said. If he's not hospitalized, Donald Trump has a better chance of carrying California than of Nick Saban not being on the sideline.
Well, he was saying that from the beginning, wasn't he? I want to coach. I want to coach in this game. I don't see why I can't coach and communicate. And apparently his communication was heard loud and clear.
No kidding. Eric, for a moment, I want you to suit up as an Alabama player. How have the past 3 days affected the locker room?
Anytime that there's any kind of disruption, it can create distraction. But one thing that you know about Coach Saban and Coach Saban coach football teams is they do a great job of eliminating that distraction. So while it was there, while there was a lot of noise around it for a very brief period of time, I really don't think it had very much impact inside the locker room here with Alabama. Very much like Kirby Smart. It is about taking care of business every single day, eliminate all those things that are outside of your control that really don't matter. That is the culture that has been built. It's been built here at Alabama. It's being built and essentially has been built at the University of Georgia now. So even though it was massive distraction across the country, as Scott said, maybe broke the internet a couple of days ago, inside the locker room, inside the four walls where this team is getting ready, I think it had minimal impact.
That was distraction, not destruction, that Z said there, folks, just so you know. Scott Howard, how about on the Georgia side? You've spent time with Coach Smart in the last 48 hours.
As far as the virus stuff?
Yeah. Just how's it affected the Georgia locker room? I mean, Kirby seems to have tried to keep it to a minimum, really.
Yeah, I asked him about it on Thursday for the talk show. He didn't really want to talk about it, nor make a big deal about it. Maybe he knew the writing on the wall. He knew it was going to work out and things were going to be semi-normal as far as both coaches being on the sideline. So. His focus remained on their preparation, getting ready for this ball game, not what was going on their sideline and all the news. Certainly, it's around you. You hear it. You're aware of it. But, his communication to me was, we've got a big ball game to play, and that's our focus.
This contest is not only one of teams abutting one another near the top of the national rankings, it's also a clash of Georgia's suffocating defense versus Bama's NBA scoring type offense.
It's based on really hard guys to cover outside. They've got, one of probably the best back in the country, if not one of the best backs in the country.
Najee Harris, Alabama offense in general is just very strong, very powerful. Over the past years, they had Jalen Hurts and Tua. But just knowing that we have to adjust to the new quarterbacks and new offensive line and new schemes, we just have to make sure that we take extra reps in the film room, extra reps in the weight room, extra reps on the field.
That's Bulldogs nose Jordan Davis, preceded by Coach Kirby Smart. Eric Zier, the biggest surprise of the past week occurred last Saturday night when I went home after our game, turned on the TV, and found out that Alabama and Ole Miss had moved to the Big 12.
Boy, no kidding. 63-48 was the final score of the football game last week. 1,370 total yards given up by both teams. There were 68 first downs in that football game. You're right. The dominating defenses of the SEC, we took a week off at least last week. Ole Miss, I think admittedly, they're not paying much attention to the defensive side of the football right now. It's all about putting up numbers. But Alabama was really out of sorts. They couldn't keep up with tempo. They were terrible in open field tackling, a number of missed assignments. We're not going to see that same Alabama defense here today, but really it's a Bama defense now going back over a year into last year that has started to slide. And really as this Alabama offense has started to take off and their identity has started to change to be more wide open, that identity is filtered over into a defense that's not nearly as physical. They still have five-star guy after five-star guy, very talented, but the physicality that you're used to seeing from Alabama, well, that's now over in Athens, and we're the ones that are bringing the wood every single day, and Alabama trying to find themselves on the defensive side.
After that performance last week, guys, I think the only people on the Alabama sideline hoping that the head coach wasn't going to be there were the assistant coaches because he wore them out last week, covered with the mask, but you could just see the veins popping and the head bobbing, and because of what he was watching on the defensive side of the ball last week in that game with Ole Miss, he was losing his mind on the sidelines, and the assistants, both on the headset and that were within earshot of him on the sidelines, were feeling the full force of that storm from Nick Saban. So it was not pretty, and of course he had thoughts on that performance after the game, and he's like, this is not how we do it at Alabama. This is not how we play defense here. And it's like you said, Eric, it was missed assignments. It was guys not lined up right. It was not getting set. I mean, they just had their hands full with the tempo of the Ole Miss offense, and they never really adjusted to it. I mean, Ole Miss scored almost 50 points on them.
Well, when we look at Ole Miss today, they're at Arkansas, and so far the Rebels have scored 0 points in 30 minutes. After hanging,
Maybe it was a one-shot deal.
I'm not sure, but that sure is not what we expected, I think. Amazing what the Tide is doing offensively, especially when you consider Alabama had 4 players selected in the first 15 picks of the 2020 draft, and they were all from the offensive side of the ball. Now, the mission for UGA tonight is to find a way to corral the runaway Red Elephants. Our Bulldogs may be best suited for the task. Georgia giving up an SEC-leading 12.3 points per game, only 38 rushing yards per contest. That's best in the country. And once halftime adjustments are administered, UGA has outscored opponents a cumulative 62-6 in the second halves of 2020.
I thought in all 3 games they became more energized in the kind of the most important moments of the game in the second half. They've increased the intensity.
There's Coach Smart. Lauren, I'm a subscriber to your philosophy of, as long as we score more points than they do, I don't care. As long as we have one more than they do at the end of the game. But again, against an offense as prolific as Alabama's, what's a fair number to hope that our defense might hold the Tide to?
Well, I think 30 might be a little bit of a magical number if we can score our usual 30 and hold them to 30.
Then we got a tie. We got overtime. You want overtime? Is that what you want?
We've done well in overtime here.
Good point, yes.
Yes, I'd take overtime here.
Heck yeah.
I don't think our team is intimidated. They know how Alabama plays. They know Alabama's tough, but they're tough too. So I feel good about the game plan. I feel good about the fact that the weather is good. And Saban's going to be on duty, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I think we could have predicted that whenever the announcement came out that he'd be here somehow or other.
Oh, yeah.
I never thought he wouldn't be.
Well, when he was talking about the rules and that he couldn't come into the stadium and the rest, I went, one thing he could always do is just relegate every single assistant coach and analyst to the field and take over the booth himself upstairs. All of you guys are out. Get out. I'm sitting up there by myself.
I think that's what he was saying last week when they were getting run up by Ole Miss.
Oh, I bet you're right. No doubt about that.
All you guys off the sideline.
Yeah, no question about that. I think if the Dogs come out today and I think that number is about 24. I think it's difficult to see this Alabama offense that when you watch them on tape, they're not LSU's offense from last year, but they're not far away. They've got weapons at receiver. They've got a phenomenal running back. They've got a great offensive line. They've got a quarterback in Mac Jones that's delivering the football very well. But for this Georgia team to be in this football game and to win this football game, I think 24 points is pretty much the magic number for me. And to do that, the Dogs have got to be on attack. We can't sit back. Last year against LSU, we sat back, we played soft, we really caught, and just allowed those great athletes too much time to go work their magic on the field. That can't happen today. I think we've got to take our chances at allowing some big plays or some explosive plays to happen against us, but we've got to take the fight. We've got to press on the line of scrimmage, press outside, no free releases for receivers. We've got to give multiple looks. We've got to find ways to pressure Mac Jones, because if he's given time, they've just got too many weapons that can hurt you in too many ways. If we do attack, I do like our chances.
All right, Zeke, quickly, if you were coaching, what advice would you give to Stetson Bennett today as he steps onto the biggest stage of his career?
Don't change a thing. Stay within yourself. Continue to be the calming influence for this team. Let your playmakers around you go make plays. Slow it down. We've got things that we can do against this Alabama defense that are very good. Stetson, you're not playing this offense. You're playing a defense that has struggled mightily. Go relax. Go stay within the offense and go have some fun.
All right, very good. Great job, men. Thank you very much. We'll take you right up to kickoff with the NAPA Tailgate Show. And, of course, you can only hear the official Georgia broadcast here with Scott, Eric, and Chuck Dowdle at 8:10 is our kickoff. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa Know-How. Our broadcast from Tuscaloosa is being engineered by Tony Schiavone, assisted by Chris Schiavone. Zach Jewell is our studio producer. More to come from our Scana booth. The great Matthew Stafford joins us in 2 minutes on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Napa Know-How. Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned NAPA. Because right now, when you order from NAPA online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's NAPA Know-How.
NAPA Know-How.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
Hey, dog fans. Coach Kirby Smart here. Do you have a game plan for flu season? Get ahead of the competition by getting a flu shot at Piedmont. It's the smart thing to do. Stop by any Piedmont primary care, quick care, or urgent care location and stay healthy all season long. Visit piedmont.org/UGA to learn more and book online. Piedmont Healthcare, more ways to better.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
I never thought I'd be talking about the D word, but now she's hired an attorney and I can't ignore it anymore. I need to prepare.
This is Lee Merriweather. At Merriweather & Tharp, we know the importance of preparation when facing a divorce. It's critical to gather and analyze information. If you're facing a divorce, call for a free phone consultation with one of our attorneys.
This is Bob Tharp. You have questions. Now there's one place to find the answers you need. Merriweather & Tharp, with offices throughout Atlanta, helping clients through difficult times.
1545 Peachtree Street, 678-879-9000. The AtlantaDivorceTeam.com.
Yeah, this season I actually had little business cards made. Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM. You can keep that. Sure, the players are famous, but come game day, I decide their fate. What's that? Oh, you make $20 million? Well, I don't like your attitude. You benched! No, I'd never bench an all-star, but I could. That's also why I like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. With options based on my budget, they never throw me a curveball. That's a little baseball reference for you.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's game day for the Dogs.
Throw into the end zone. Touchdown Pickens. Touchdown Pickens. Back right corner.
Let's rejoin the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Georgia will get a crack from the 25-yard line. They'll line up in the I formation with Thomas Brown, the tailback. Play action fake to Brown. Stafford wants to go for it all right here. He throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Georgia wins! Mikey Henderson on the reception. One and done, baby.
After 41 years of Larry Munson calling Georgia games, Scott Howard broke in the football play-by-play chair with that unforgettable call of an unbelievable finish to Georgia's win over Alabama here in Tuscaloosa in 2007. Welcome back to the Napa Tailgate Show. Neil Hondo Williamson along with Scott, Eric Zier, and our Lauren Smith, who has a hero from that night on the line. Lauren?
Well, I'm mighty happy to have an opportunity to visit with Matt Stafford and his old running mate, roommate, good friend, fullback, Sean Chappas. Matthew, 12-year veteran in the NFL with the Detroit Lions. You and Kirby Smart are partnering on something very nice brought about by a gift he made and a seven-figure gift that you made. Explain what you're trying to do to underscore youth development help.
There's quite a few things that are involved with that gift. Obviously, we're trying to help develop that social justice program there at Georgia, which is an incredible idea. There's some scholarship funding for kids in Atlanta that need help. And then also there's some money going towards McGill, obviously, as well. So it's a really well-rounded program, something that Kelly, my wife, and I are extremely excited to be partnering with Kirby and his wife about.
But we won't forget that overtime pass to Mikey Henderson in Tuscaloosa. How often do you think about that? Do you ever reflect, especially when a game like this comes up?
Yeah, it's obviously a big weekend in college football, a big one for Georgia and Alabama the same. That was a great experience. Obviously a tough game back and forth kind of all the way through. Some fourth quarter fireworks kind of got it to overtime, and then our defense did a good job getting a stop and hold them to just some points, and then we were able to throw the go ball down the left sideline to Mikey Anderson there for a touchdown and win the game. So I've got I've got great memories playing in Tuscaloosa.
Now, it was a perfect pass. I think that would be an appropriate description. I don't think Sean will be guilty even retroactively for breaking training, but when they had the dog pile, I think he got a Jack Daniels in his neck. What happened there, Sean?
I did. So after the perfect pass, I ran down to jump on the dog pile with everybody that had kind of jumped on Mikey to celebrate. And I believe it was right in front of the student section, or at least there was a student that chose to throw his beverage at me, and it was a direct hit. It was a good shot, good throw on his part too. It hit me right kind of in the back of the neck, and at first I wasn't really sure what it was. I felt the liquid, and then I got the smell of some old Jack Daniels, and it actually got me even more excited. I think I celebrated a little bit harder, but yeah, it was an old Jack and Coke right to the back of the head, and I loved it. I took it in stride, and it made the celebration even better.
Matthew, you got there, but you had to run a few yards, so you got there late. What do you remember about that particular dog pile?
Oh, man, not much. I kind of blacked out. I ripped my helmet off and was running around like a crazy man, but it was fun when I got there. I remember that. I too remember some distinct smells as we were down there, but it made it that much sweeter.
You're with the Lions. You've had a terrific career, but give us an update with the NFL today.
Currently 1-3, not where we want to be, but working towards getting that fixed. It's an amazing thing that I get to play this game still. I've been able to play it now for 12 years, and I know I'm very lucky to do what I do, so I enjoy doing it, and hope to do it for quite a few more years.
Well, we really appreciate you supporting Georgia the way you have. That's remarkable, I think, that you have underscored giving back to your university. You're giving back to us just by your presence, being a gentleman and being an outstanding athlete. And before you go, what kind of running back was Sean Chappis?
He was the best. He was the best. We had a bunch of good times on the field and off the field. Stayed great friends. Our families are great friends still. So he's that's what college football is all about. College in general is just about meeting friends you'll have for life, and he's definitely one of them.
Well, he certainly is a gentleman like you, and we appreciate you taking the time to be with us. And now we go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Great to have Matt Stafford on, and Sean, of course. We love us some Sean Chappis, that's for sure. Well, we're here in Tuscaloosa, folks, and Bulldog fans, you can remember that we're also in Athens 2 more times this year for football games. You can shop the UGA bookstore for the best in Georgia gear next to Sanford Stadium or online 24/7 at UGAbookstore.com. Keep an eye out for the new arriving items and stay up to date on our in-store events and promotions this season by following them on social media at UGA Bookstore. The UGA Bookstore, it's where the dogs shop. Let's check some scores for you. Games in progress. 4th-ranked Notre Dame at home against Louisville. Just 6 minutes to play in that one. Fighting Irish hanging on against the Cardinals 12-7. ND leads that one with just 6 minutes to play in that game. Halftime in Raleigh, NC State is losing to Duke right now. It's 20-14. Blue Devils on top there. Arkansas at home at half, leading Ole Miss 20-0. Texas A&M is playing at Mississippi State, and the Aggies have a 14-zip lead with a minute and a half to play in the first half of that. And Wake Forest leads Virginia with 4:59 to play in the second. It's 20-13. Deacs on top. Earlier today, thank you for pointing that out, Scott. Earlier today, Georgia Tech and Clemson neck and neck, 7-7, 8.5 minutes into the game. Then the final score was 73-7. Tigers beat Tech, and you can hear a few cheers here. Clemson improves to 5-0. Georgia Tech now 2-3. Elsewhere, 13th-ranked Miami over Pitt, 31-19. It was South Carolina over 14th-ranked Auburn. Bo Nix threw 3 interceptions today. Gamecocks rallied to win that one 30-22 at home. Tennessee, Jared Garantano must have still been having nightmares of Azeez Ojulari and Monty Rice after last week. 18th-ranked Tennessee at home against Kentucky, and Garantano threw 2 first-half pick sixes. Kentucky rolls 34-7. The first time the Wildcats have won in Knoxville since Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro were on the ticket against Reagan Bush in 1984. And Navy and East Carolina today. Navy squeaked one out 27-23 was the final. Here, it's number 3 Georgia, number 2 Alabama, Smart v. Saban, and plenty of great football for you tonight on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
Dealing with constant changes, not easy. Letting go of my inner perfectionist, not easy. But crossing a few things off my financial to-do list, surprisingly simple.
Regent's tools and advice make it easy to manage your money. From podcasts and webinars to budget and savings calculators, we'll help you find your financial comfort zone.
Those few little financial tweaks have made a big difference.
Check off some financial to-dos at regents.com/brave the beginning. Regents Bank, member FDIC, official bank of the SEC.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Hump Day, Taco Day, or any other day, every day is the day to save at the Toyota Today's the Day sales event, where you can get a great deal on the entire Toyota lineup until November 2nd. Contact your local Toyota dealer today.
Get 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2020 Toyota RAV4. Offer valid through November 2nd, 2020. Zero down for well-qualified buyers with approved credit and financing through Southeast Toyota Finance. $1,667 monthly payment for every $1,000 financed. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps teen athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 20 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
It's time to unleash the Dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got to sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Here comes pressure. Garantano throws, and it's intercepted. He had pressure in his face, and he threw it, and Eric Stokes gets his second pick of the year. Dogs intercepted at the Tennessee 36. Georgia ball going the other way.
Eric Stokes' pick set the wheels in motion for Georgia to take the lead on its ensuing possession and then never look back as the Dogs clobbered Tennessee 44-21 last week. Thanks for tuning in to our NAPA Tailgate Show, now presented by Primerica. Primerica, the only company positioned to make maximum impact on Main Street families. Here's Lauren.
Our Primerica Player of the Week this week, inside linebacker Monty Rice, a native of Huntsville, Alabama. Rice led the Bulldogs in tackles for the second straight game and scored his first career touchdown during Georgia's 44-21 rout of number 14 Tennessee. He tallied 8 stops, including a pair of tackles for loss. One of Rice's tackles for loss was a strip sack that he recovered and returned 20 yards for a touchdown. Behind Rice's lead, the Bulldogs held the Vols to a -1 rushing yards and no points in the second half. We'd like to thank our friend Mike Burrows and all our good friends at Primerica for helping us honor a Bulldog player each week during the season. Now we go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. This is the NAPA Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. If Georgia plans to keep pace with Alabama's high-octane offense tonight, we'll need the red and black offense to contribute mightily as well. We'll get Eric Zier back in here to talk about the Dogs' attack in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Getting back to business means giving customers the confidence to walk through your doors. At Surf Pro, we're doing just that with certified Surf Pro Clean. Our proactive cleaning program helps reduce the spread of viral pathogens, adheres to CDC standards, and uses proprietary EPA-approved disinfectants. Put the certified Surf Pro Clean Shield in your window and let customers know that you're committed to a higher standard of clean. For a free quote, call 1-800-SURF-PRO or visit surfpro.com. Franchising or independently owned and operated.
Glory! Glory
Coming to Old Georgia. The dogs are unleashed, so are the savings. Scana Energy is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. So sing, cheer, and put on your red and black in honor of our team. Celebrate the Dogs' journey to glory this football season with Scana Energy by calling 877-GO-SCANA or visiting scanaenergy.com to save.
This is Georgia Football, brought to you by Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. You instantly get a list of quality candidates from Indeed's resume database the moment you sponsor a job. Get started at Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, Georgia Bulldogs, some of us may be cheering from home this season. Maybe you've got the big TV and game time snacks, but no room to cheer. No sweat. You've got options. When you work with Rocket Mortgage, you see all your options right up front. From down payments to closing costs, you know what fits your budget. So, if you need a home big enough for your whole team, Rocket can. Get started at rocketmortgage.com. Rocket Mortgage, proud mortgage partner of Georgia Athletics.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's game day, and the dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Dogs are taking their time. Kendall Milton in the ball game. I see Big Carter in there. Going to line up in the I. Carter, the fullback. Milton, the tailback. Big Jordan Davis, an extra lineman left. Play fake. Milton. Bennett rolls. Throws it to the tight end. No, the fullback. He threw it to Carter. He threw it to Carter. Touchdown. Ho-ho! Wow, what a play. The fullback, the defensive lineman just caught the touchdown. And now flags as Georgia celebrates in the end zone.
How much fun was that? Freshman Jalen Carter with the catch. The Dogs with a 27-0 blanking of Tennessee in the second half last week, setting up tonight's number 3 versus number 2 showdown with Alabama. This is your Georgia offense update, and it's brought to you by UPS. Working together to achieve great things like the Bulldogs, that's problem solving. Visit UPS.com to learn more. Official logistics partner of Georgia Athletics. Eric Zier here with your old buddy Hondo on the radio, and it's a beautiful, perfect day in Tuscaloosa, and the sun has been right in our eyes. We're up in the press box. Because of COVID, we no longer do the tailgate show from the Georgia bench when we're on the road, so we're actually doing it from the press box. Sun has been in our face. I enjoy it. Eric is not as big a fan, and our friend Butch from the Alabama broadcast team just passed over to something to you, Z.
Well, he saw my hairline, and he said, "You need this." He didn't even ask. He just kind of handed it. He threw it out of his window, across into our window. It was a curveball that made it all the way into the booth because he was worried about my bald head burning.
And he gave you some 50+.
Which is needed.
Yes, very good. So some sunscreen for Eric Zier. All right, Z, one way to keep Alabama's offense in check is to keep them off the field, and that duty will fall to our offensive line and committee of running backs.
I've been really pleased with the backs. I think protecting the ball is a big, really key for us, and having great ball security, which it always is. They run hard after contact and break tackles. Each one is, a little different than the other.
That's Coach Kirby Smart, and yeah, from everybody that we've seen there, from Zeus to Kenny McIntosh to Kendall Milton to Dejan, everybody's going to have a good game today, and there's going to be opportunity to run the football. This Alabama defense right now giving up 150 yards per game on the ground. opposing offenses so far through the first 3 games converting 54% of their third down opportunities. That's unheard of when you talk about Alabama defenses, but it's going to be needed today. The Dogs, because this Bama offense is so explosive, if we can control the ball for 35 minutes, and that's not out of the question. Right now, opposing offenses holding it for 32 minutes and 31 seconds so far on the year, but Dogs have to convert on third down. We've got to get into third and manageable situations throughout this football game, and we'll have opportunities to do it as this Alabama defense still struggling to find itself. Not nearly as physical as they've been in years past, but the Dogs are going to have to take the fight to the Crimson Tide today.
Yeah, controlling the ball for 35 minutes would be great as long as they're not scoring on 2-minute drives, right?
That's right.
All right, very good. Let's remember one of the 3 futile short yardage tries on which Georgia was unable to move Tennessee mere inches last week.
I formation, Carter the fullback, Zamir White the tail, hand it to Zamir. He goes right side, and he did not get in there. They stop him shy of the goal line.
Any concern here, Z, and might the TD pass to Jalen Carter actually serve to loosen up future opponents?
No real concern. We've been very good out of that jumbo package so far this year. Obviously had 3 tries last week that we didn't do it and weren't able to convert. That's disappointing, but we've been pretty good on the whole throughout the year with that jumbo package. Our offensive line has had a good push. No question, the play action and then the touchdown pass to Jalen Carter, that absolutely is going to help. It gets it on film. It makes opposing defenses have to think about it, and it loosens you up just a little bit, and that's really all you need with the big guys that we've got in there and a little bit of push. Just that thought and that threat of being able to throw the football out of that formation is going to have an impact. So no real worries. Obviously have to come out here and execute, though.
Well, it would be understating things to say that Alabama's defense has been susceptible to opponents' tight ends the past 2 weeks. Ole Miss tight end Kenny Yeboah hauled in 7 catches for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns last Saturday. And the week previous, Texas A&M tight end Jalen Weidermeyer made 8 catches for 82 yards against the Tide.
Now Bennett wants to throw. He's got McKinney caught at the 25. Stiff arms the Tennessee defender and pushes his way down to the 16.5. Banks and Flowers had to get the big tight end to the turf, but not before he gets the big first down inside the Tennessee 17.
That's graduate transfer Trey McKitty who made that catch. He had 2 nice long receptions versus the Vols last Saturday, and we'd like to further uncork Trey McKitty tonight, Zay.
Yeah, Trey McKitty had a fantastic first game in the red and black last week, and this Alabama defense has really struggled. You talk about the struggles they've had over the past couple of weeks, 15 catches by tight ends for north of 260 yards. These struggles really date back now for a little while where Alabama has struggled against big physical tight ends. They've really been hurt in the passing game by this position, and now all of a sudden you add Trey McKitty to John Fitzpatrick and to Darnell Washington, and we've got a trio of tight ends that can do some damage, and based on what we've seen on tape, you have to imagine they're going to be a part of this game plan today because Alabama has struggled so much there.
All right, great job, Dr. Zier. Your expertise is appreciated. Our third-ranked Bulldogs on the road to face number 2 Alabama. It's our 3rd consecutive opponent ranked in the top 14. Stay with us. We'll hear from Coach Kirby Smart with three exclusive interviews between now and kickoff on the Bulldog Sports Network.
This is head coach Kirby Smart. It's my job to coach the fundamentals of football and prepare my guys for the future. Well, my friends at Southeast Mortgage are preparing you for your future by becoming a homeowner. Every Bulldog deserves a home. If you're in the market to purchase or refinance, I trust Southeast Mortgage to provide the best experience and get it done. Visit southeastmortgage.com/UGA to get pre-approved for your home loan today. Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Southeast Mortgage of Georgia Incorporated, NMLS, number 103956. Georgia Residential Mortgage License number 6578.
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Angela and I have big plans for 2020. new stamp in our passports, maybe a bathroom renovation. We definitely didn't expect to be worried about our income.
When life takes you out of one comfort zone, your Regions banker has helpful tools and advice to help you find a new one.
It's a relief to have a plan for whatever comes next.
Make your financial plan at regions.com/brave the beginning. Regions Bank. Member FDIC. Official bank of the SEC.
With so many new pet owners, Kezia's Grooming can't keep up.
Kezia's Grooming? Sorry, we're booked solid through the weekend. I can give you a call back, though, if something opens up.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
3rd long for the Vols, 3rd and 14. Garantano, pressure from the edges. He'll be sacked. He lost the ball. It's on the ground. We go diving for it. Dogs ball. Azeez Ojulari, a strip sack. Dogs have it at the 15.
Getting fired up for the Dogs and the Tide tonight. Welcome back to the NAPA Tailgate Show. Here's our Lauren Smith. Lauren?
Welcome. Our guest is J. Reed Parker, Director of Athletics, Greg McGarity. The conference, all conference games, what's the scuttlebutt around the league with you and the athletic directors in terms of how the schedule has worked out?
Well, I think the schedule, Lauren, has really worked well. Unfortunately, there is a game that has to be canceled this weekend, Vanderbilt, Missouri. They'll make that game up December 12th. So I think everybody knew there would be some nuances with the schedule, but I think every athletic director and every coach was just happy to play football. I think our fans were relieved that we didn't start with Alabama. Thankfully, we've are playing them in the middle of the season, and we were able to play three really tough games, and especially against an Arkansas team that's surprising a lot of people, and then 2 home games against Tennessee and Auburn. So I think we're ready to go, and let's just line up, and whoever we play next week, we'll be ready for them.
As we move forward, we hear a lot about a vaccine, and there's some people on our campus who are doing good work. Dr. Ted Ross trying to develop a permanent flu vaccine where you don't have to take the flu shots every year, and now he's redoubled his efforts in the direction of trying to help find a vaccine for the virus, and a lot of work on campus by a lot of professors. Their work has been funded by the Athletic Association. What kind of rewards do you see that's brought the Athletic Association?
Well, Lauren, we've had the resources to help the university out over $4 million every year for the university to use at their discretion. President Moorhead has done an outstanding job in utilizing those resources for really so many good uses. One of those is to endow professorships, and I think we're probably up to 30 of those faculty positions now, to where we're able to help compensate. And I just can't say enough about the research efforts under Dr. Lee and at the vet school, which has taken a huge role into the COVID testing. And you've got so many people on this campus who have devoted significant time and effort for the well-being of everyone on campus. So I've always said campus is probably the safest place to be because of the tremendous effort that the university community is dedicating to all the resources necessary to be safe as it can possibly be.
Our guest, Greg McGarity, J. Reed Parker, Director of Athletics. Moving into the fall, football is fun, still miss the fans. How tough was it for you emotionally to come to a game at home with no fans? Virtually none, but those who have come have made themselves heard.
There's no doubt, Lauren. I think we're really spoiling people because it's easy to get to the game. It's easy to get home. There are no lines anywhere. And so that part of it, those that have chosen to opt in have really enjoyed the experience because they've got room to move around. They don't have to stand up during the whole game like they've done in previous years. But, we missed the 90,000 that are there because it creates a great environment. But I can assure you those that are in the stadium want to be there. I mean, they've opted in. They're very vocal. It has just been so rewarding to see those 20,000 fans that come to that game respond in such a way, and to see them really appreciate the efforts that our staff has gone to enforce social distancing and provide masking. And our fans have just been phenomenal, especially our students last week. They adhered to our social distancing request, and everybody saw a great second half, and certainly the environment in Sanford Stadium. For those of us that were there, it's reminiscence of what it was like with 90,000 there.
Thanks for joining us, Greg. We go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Greg. Bulldogs fans, tune in tomorrow at midnight to WSB TV Channel 2 to catch the latest episode of Kirby Smart All Access. This week, defensive coordinator Dan Lanning will be mic'd up, and you'll get to know offensive line coach Matt Luke. That's Kirby Smart All Access tomorrow at 12 midnight on WSB TV Channel 2, or anytime next week at GeorgiaDogs.com. Tonight, Alabama becomes the 14th top 10 opponent Kirby Smart's Bulldogs will face over his 4+ years as UGA's head coach. Thus far, the results have been pretty dadgum impressive. Georgia has won 9 times and lost only 4 against top 10 teams, since CKS took the reins in 2016. The Dogs last toppled a team ranked number 2 or number 1 at, come on now, the Rose Bowl in the 2018 College Football Playoff semifinal. That's when the Bulldogs outlasted number 2 Oklahoma, 54-48 in overtime. Hang with us. The voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, steps to the mic in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
From the farmer's field that produces your food to the football field where your home team plays, Georgia Farm Bureau is committed to helping Georgia communities thrive. Georgia Farm Bureau provides peace of mind to families through home, auto, and life insurance with affordable coverage and fast claim services. By insuring with Georgia Farm Bureau, you're making an investment in Georgia agriculture, Georgia farmers, and Georgia families. With more than 150 offices in the state, Georgia Farm Bureau is always the home team.
Everybody remembers the amazing light show last year when we ran the Fighting Irish out of Sanford Stadium that made Georgia the envy of college football. I'm Kenny Mullins, business manager for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Every light in Sanford Stadium was installed by an IBEW electrician. We also light up the practice facility and many other buildings on campus. Learn more about the IBEW at IBEW613.org. Go Dogs!
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Protect your loved ones from the flu this season by making a flu shot appointment for yourself and the people you care about most at Kroger.com/flu. Your people are our people.
You're listening to Georgia Football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Bama's linebackers a little close. One of them in particular snapped to Green. They're coming on him. Green going to throw a long fly pattern to Terrence Edwards. Touchdown! Perfectly led play. Green got clobbered after the play, but he threw a perfect strike. Terrence got one step on the defensive back and just came across the goal line as he caught it. Terrence Edwards, a great catch. And David Green really laid that ball in there.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Georgia was definitely man enough in 2002 when David Green, Terrence Edwards, and teammates rolled into Bryant-Denny Stadium and rolled Alabama. That was the first ever win for a UGA team in Tuscaloosa. We'd like to welcome you back to the NAPA Tailgate Show from our Scana studio at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And what a great afternoon that was for us, Scott Howard.
That was fun. I remember that game, and Billy Bennett with the winning field goal, and Fred Gibson with the great, I think Munson called it, sitting on his backside, made the catch, and into the end zone. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. We'll hear
that was the game, too. I think that before the game, we had engineering snafu because a squirrel had gotten into one of the transformers nearby the stadium and knocked power out.
Really?
And our engineer at the time was Charles Youngs.
Yeah.
And Charles was scrambling to make sure we got on the air, but that's what he said when we show up. A squirrel, sacrificed his life so that we could get that game on the air
and lunch. So, thank you, Scott and Charles. If you're listening, we're thinking of you, buddy. And tonight we get a chance to break another streak like that team did. No former Alabama / Nick Saban assistant coach has ever defeated the master. Kirby Smart and third-ranked Georgia have a chance to do that tonight as the Dogs look to beat the number 2 Crimson Tide.
I don't think the players need motivating. I really don't. I mean, not for this game in any scenario. They don't need motivating. It's 2 versus 3. It's Alabama versus Georgia. They realize what's at stake. Our guys have played LSU 2 years in a row. They played Alabama 2 years before that in a row, and there's enough of our players that have played Alabama 2 games that know it's a physical brand of football and it's a physical game. But we played them twice, and it wasn't like they didn't feel like they could beat them.
Coach Smart was interesting this week, Scott. It kind of gets back into that whole thing of coaches and players are a lot less intimidated by reputations than the fans are, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't really afford to be. I mean, you can't go into a game and prepare with the idea that you're going to lose the game. I mean, you have to prepare with this is how we're going to win the game. And, all of that stuff is amplified by stuff that we say and TV and the fans and all the social talk now, and everybody loves stats and records and all of that stuff, and they're good talking points. But if you're down there preparing for one of these things, most of that stuff they don't pay attention to. I mean, I'm sure they hear it, but they can't factor it into their preparation and what they do. And I mean that's a recipe for losing if you start believing all that stuff.
Hey, what are the chances we'll see James Cook tonight?
I think pretty good. I mean, we were told last week that we saw James on the sideline in an emergency situation. They felt that he could have played. He didn't, but he was dressed and on the sidelines and ready to go. And I think another week of that, and he should be. He should be ready. I think a bigger concern is Monty Rice. We're told that he's a game time decision, and had an injury in practice this week. So I'm hoping that number 32 can play as well. But excuse me, I think James will be back tonight.
You and me both. We remember 2 years ago when Monty got hurt towards the end of the season and how that affected the Dogs.
Yeah, it really did. You're right.
Quite a bit. Thank you, Scott. Can't wait for your call of the game. Tonight, 8:10 is when toe meets leather. Georgia's special teams have helped create a substantial edge for the third-ranked Dogs so far this season. And Hall of Fame kicker Kevin Butler stops by in 2 minutes to discuss the specials on the Bulldog Sports Network.
With thousands of locally owned NAPA stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, we do too. And that's why you can find us in big cities, small towns, and everywhere in between, doing what we've always done to help keep our local communities moving forward. So whether you stop by a NAPA Auto Parts store, Auto Care Center, or visit us at NAPA online, you can count on NAPA know-how.
Whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Hump Day, Taco Day, or any other day. Every day is the day to save at the Toyota Today's the Day sales event, where you can get a great deal on the entire Toyota lineup until November 2nd. Contact your local Toyota dealer today.
Get 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2020 Toyota RAV4. Offer valid through November 2nd, 2020. Zero down for well-qualified buyers with approved credit and financing through Southeast Toyota Finance. $1,667 monthly payment for every $1,000 financed. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details.
Georgia football is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Play here.
Wow! Power straight ahead. Touchdown!
You're listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
For the lead. Snap. Hold by Camarda. Kick is away. Does Pod have enough leg on it? He does! Right into the net. From 51.
Knowing that it was 51, it was going to be a career long. It was a really good feeling to know that I could just put it right down the uprights and just have a solid kick.
Kicker Jackpot Lesney gave the Dogs a huge lift and the lead with that career-long boot against UT last week. Kevin Butler, who in his All-American career made more than his fair share of critical kicks, rejoins us here on the NAPA Tailgate Show. And this look at today's kicking game is presented by Allstate. Protecting you has no off-season. You're in good hands with Allstate. And you know what's great? It's when you make an observation or a prediction that comes true, and then someone else actually remembers after the fact your prescience. Such is the case with our Kevin Butler in last week's broadcast.
Securing the ball in special teams today will be one of those hidden factors in the special teams, making sure you catch. And then don't be so careful that you end up hurting yourself. And what I mean by that, letting that ball hit the ground on punts and then they get another 20, 30 yards roll. We've seen that too much. But if you're going to go after those, you got to secure it.
Hey, you nailed it there, buddy. 3 times last week, Kearis Jackson fielded bouncing punts under heavy pressure and kept the Dogs from losing substantial yardage.
Well, we've seen it too much before, Neil, when guys just get so safe that they sit and let that ball hit, and then it's out of their control. And Kearis did an unbelievable job last night protecting, having minus 6 yards in return. That was probably one of the more productive stats Georgia had last week.
It was just terrific. One of the ones that's been productive is kickoff returns. And I'm thinking about Kenny McIntosh here. He leads the SEC with a 42.8 yard per return average on 4 tries. That's great. But, Kevin, he hasn't even taken 150. It's impossible to average 43 yards, right? And you haven't even taken 150, no less 90 or 100.
Yeah, I tell you what I love about Kenny. Just he gets straight up field. You know, he goes north-south right when he catches that ball. And I think that'll be a big play today. You know, Alabama and Georgia both come in holding their return on kickoffs to 15 yards, Alabama, and Georgia at 18 yards. So as you look at Georgia's return yardage, you know, right, Kenny's got 42-yard average right now, and Alabama only has 13. This is just one of those games where we've seen something happen in the special teams, whether it's a big return, whether it's an offsides from a block punt that doesn't get called. I mean, there's just so many things that can go on. But look today for somebody returning something big against a very good defensive return team, both in Georgia and Alabama.
Well, I read on WSAL.com this week that Ole Miss had a good strategy for keeping kickoffs away from Alabama superstar Jalen Waddle. They were kicking short, creating weird bounces. Is that something you can see us doing, or are you just going to have Jack boot the thing out of the end zone every time?
Well, you know what? My philosophy has always been that, Neil, if you can kick it out the end zone, that is the only 100% pure way to protect yourself against a big play. A lot of big plays come. You know, the one thing I don't like, and I've always said it from college, and I ticked off Coach Dicka when I tell him, you know, when you kick that squib kick, the definition of a squib kick is you don't know where it's going, and that means the team that's trying to cover doesn't know where it's going also. You try to put it in the area, but there's no sure thing. The only sure thing is to kick that ball out of the end zone. I think that's the best way to do it.
All right, great, Kevin. As always, thank you very much. Kevin Butler, the Hall of Fame kicker with us. It's number 2 Alabama hosting our third-ranked Dogs. We kick at 8:10. Eric Zeier is standing by to share his desires for tonight's SEC showdown. That's in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
In football, it's important to call the right play. In life, it can be even more important to make the right call, especially regarding termite protection. To protect my home, I call the unbeatable combination for termite protection, Cook's Pest Control and the Centricon system. Discover how affordable it is to protect your home with the Centricon system. Make the right call. Cook's Pest Control.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
From the farmer's field that produces your food to the football field where your home team plays, Georgia Farm Bureau is committed to helping Georgia communities thrive. Georgia Farm Bureau provides peace of mind to families through home, auto, and life insurance with affordable coverage and fast claim services. By insuring with Georgia Farm Bureau, you're making an investment in Georgia agriculture, Georgia farmers, and Georgia families. With more than 150 offices in the state, Georgia Farm Bureau is always the home team.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
This is head coach Kirby Smart. It's my job to coach the fundamentals of football and prepare my guys for the future. Well, my friends at Southeast Mortgage are preparing you for your future by becoming a homeowner. Every Bulldog deserves a home. If you're in the market to purchase or refinance, I trust Southeast Mortgage to provide the best experience and get it done. Visit southeastmortgage.com/UGA to get pre-approved for your home loan today. Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Southeast Mortgage of Georgia Incorporated, NMLS, number 103956. Georgia Residential Mortgage License number 6578.
Cleanings, checkups, and cavities? Have Dr. Chang's dental practice at capacity.
Patient in room 1 is getting a root canal. The x-rays in room 2 are going to have to wait. We're down to 1 hygienist.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Counting you down to kickoff.
He goes down underneath. Big Jordan Davis crush.
You're listening to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Quarterback draw. Bennett looking for a gap. Bounces out right. 4, 3, 2. Dives for the pylon. Got it. Touchdown. Stetson Bennett.
Hard to tell which impresses you more every time you see Stetson Bennett. Is it the calm, successful direction of the offense, his 5 TDs and no interceptions to go with 72% completion rate on third down passes, or runs and guile and double jab steps like that play, Eric Zeier?
It's really all of it. You know, and I think the thing that's impressed me the most has just been how he's come in and taken charge of this offense. He has been calm, and that calmness, that maturity that he showed is really taken and buoyed this offense and allowed other playmakers to step up. But no question, his athleticism has been surprising. The way he's been able to extend plays and make plays happen. He plays with a moxie and a toughness that you really didn't expect to see. And this offense is rallied around him.
All right, we'll get Eric Zeier's desires in 10 seconds. But first, we're going to pause for station identification. This is the Bulldog Sports Network. Zires Desires is brought to you by Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, the fastest, easiest way to buy your next new car, truck, or SUV. Choose from the largest selection at athensdcjr.com. Always the best deal, always. Have at it, Z.
Well, first, Honda, we've got to be ready from the opening whistle. 2 of our first 3 games, we've really struggled early in the football game. If we do that today, this Alabama team is way too powerful to be able to dig out from a hole the way that we did against Arkansas, the way that we did against Tennessee. But mental mistakes early in this football game can come back to bite you. We've got to be ready to start fast. On the defensive side of the ball, we've got to attack and take the fight to this Alabama offense. I get it that they are putting up arcade-like numbers, averaging 51 points per game, 560 yards per game. They're racking up yardage, racking up points. We can't sit back and catch. The closest offense that we've seen to this, LSU from last year. LSU is a better offense than this offense, but Alabama's closing that gap and pretty close. We played soft, and we caught against LSU, and it came back to bite us. That can't happen today. We need to press, be aggressive. No free releases for these receivers. We've got to be aggressive and apply pressure to Mac Jones, get him on the move, and show multiple looks throughout this football game. We obviously don't want big plays, but sitting back and catching against these athletes is not the answer that we want. On the offensive side of the ball, use tempo where we can. We saw what Ole Miss was able to go do last week against Alabama. Alabama never looked ready. A lot of missed tackles, a lot of missed assignments, and the tempo was just too much for them. We're not going to change our identity, but if we can strategically have tempo into this football game, I think we'll give ourselves some opportunity. And then finally, get our tight ends involved in this football game. Alabama over the past couple of years has struggled against big tight ends. We've got tight ends that can be threats, need to get them involved. And finally, want to see George Pickens have a breakout game. I think we're going to get some one-on-one situations. George Pickens, only 8 catches on the year. Today, want to see him step up and lead this team in terms of receiver, because he can get over the top of this Alabama secondary and do some damage.
All right, that's a lot of desires. Thank you, Eric. We're watching on the big screen here inside Bryant-Denny Stadium and just saw Coach Saban leading the Alabama team, walking, I guess, through campus somewhere as they are about to make their way into the stadium. Tony Schiavone is with us right now. Tony, how you doing, pal?
Hey, Hondo, what's going on, buddy?
Good. I'm good. How about you? TV star, movie star, right? Yeah. Lead role in the horror remake.
Yeah, I was.
House of Wax. Is that what it was?
It was the lead role in the remake of The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Is what it was.
It was. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. You got to tell people about you and the doc.
Dr. Britt Baker. I was with her at where she was having her massage and her facial done, and they attacked me. The women did, and held me down.
This just gets better as you go along.
And waxed my chest. It's the first wax I ever had, and it was actually on camera. So I showed it to my wife, and my wife says, "Probably a good idea not to do that again." And I said, "You're right."
Thank you so much, Lois.
Thank you, Lois. I'll do anything for entertainment purposes, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
You're very good at that.
Thank you very much.
All right, Tone. That's great. Can't wait to AEW Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock on TNT.
TNT.
Thank you,
Fantastic. Thank you. Tony Schiavone with us, and Coach Kirby Smart joins us in less than 30 minutes here on the NAPA Tailgate Show with an exclusive scouting report. It's tonight's tete-a-tete between number 2 Alabama and third-ranked Georgia on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
If you see a crack in your wall, contact ESOG to stop foundation problems. Neil Hondo Williamson for Engineered Solutions of Georgia, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and I'm here with legendary Georgia Bulldog quarterback and radio host Buck Ballou.
Ken and I are teaming up to give back to the brave men and women of our military. Ken's going to donate $500 to one member of the military every Bulldog football game this season.
If you're a member of the military in Atlanta, go to attorneykennugent.com to enter.
And somebody's going to win $500 every game.
One click.
That's it.
Ken Nugent, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hey, this is Trip Strickland at Georgia Metals, and we are so much more than metal roofing. We're steel buildings, metal fabrication, custom welding. We're everything metal. So for all your metal needs, call Georgia Metals, where quality steel matters.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hey, Dog fans. Coach Kirby Smart here. Do you have a game plan for flu season? Get ahead of the competition by getting a flu shot at Piedmont. It's the smart thing to do. Stop by any Piedmont primary care, quick care, or urgent care location and stay healthy all season long. Visit piedmont.org/UGA to learn more and book online. Piedmont Healthcare, more ways to better. Hey Bulldog fans, Coach Smart here. My friends at Georgia United Credit Union now offer Georgia Bulldogs Visa debit cards. Now you can show your team pride everywhere you go and spend. Pick your favorite design and score yours today. Georgia United makes banking easy, friendly, and smart for busy members like myself. Attack the day with a free checking account that pays big interest. It's the smart choice. Visit at gucu.org/Go Dogs for important account information. Insured by NCUA. Georgia United, the official credit union of Georgia Athletics.
It's game day for the Dogs.
Throw into the end zone. Touchdown Pickens. Touchdown Pickens. Back right corner.
Let's rejoin the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Now we're only 7.5 yards back. We're on the 22.5. Alabama's got 8 men on the line. We're going to try to win it right here. We kick it up and it's looking all right. Yeah, I think yes. Billy Bennett stuck it up in there with 38 seconds. Now we got to play defense for 38 seconds. And we took the lead back 27-25.
2002, you heard Scott Howard reference that earlier. Athens native Billy Bennett connecting on the game winner as the Dogs beat Bama in Tuscaloosa for the first time ever. And tonight we'll attempt to make it 3 in a row at Bryant-Denny Stadium. From our SCANA studio, the NAPA Tailgate Show continues, and here's Lauren Smith.
We're happy to welcome to our show Director of Football Performance Nutrition, Kalia Perno, who grew up in Athens. Her father, Lou, was a student trainer when he was in school at the University of Georgia. And, of course, the Pernos have been very prominent in Athens on the Athens sports scene for many years. So happy to have her with us. She's a graduate of Alabama, and I'm happy to have an opportunity to talk with her today. Now, you are the Director of Football Performance Nutrition.
Yes.
Exactly what do you do?
So I'm really in charge a lot about the food, the body weight, really making sure that we focus on the details of football. There's a lot of things in the sport you cannot control, but how you eat and how you hydrate we can. So we really like to teach our athletes how to use that as a competitive advantage. You know, each thing's individualized to our players with their needs, their calorie burn, things like that, but really making sure that our athletes are fueled and fed and ready to perform on the field.
Well, now, how does it work? You weigh 300 pounds, so you got to have a lot of intake, but you got to have the right food to make it work. How do you feed a hungry man when it's a 300-pound football player?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have food, hydration, shakes, everything around at all times. Really, things get tailored. So we'll meet, figure out kind of what are their eating habits, what are their likes, and then what kind of things do we need to do? Do they need to gain weight? Do they need to lose weight? Are they trying to put on muscle mass? Are they healing from an injury? All those things will impact kind of how we need to feed them. So everything's got to be individualized. We are lucky to have a team chef who's also involved in this, really making sure that we're giving them the amount of protein, carbs, and vegetables that they need for performance.
Now, what was your experience at Alabama like? You knew Coach Saban, who unfortunately has got a problem tonight in the game. But
yes.
What was your Alabama experience like? What did you learn?
So I was just a student, volunteer at the time, but it was kind of where I got to dip my toes into collegiate athletics. I started off making smoothies, unloading orders, inventory, and kind of the grind work of things. But I'm super grateful for my time there. It's where I got to work with a lot of great athletes. We won 2 national championship titles while I was there.
And then you spent some time at the University of Florida.
Yes.
Doing mission work.
Yes, so that was where I became head there. So that's where I went from, kind of doing the day-to-day stuff to getting to work with the athletes and getting to meet with the strength coaches, getting to set up plans and things like that, be involved with recruiting, all the other fun things that I get to do here now. But it was a good experience. I learned a lot. I got to see a lot lot and kind of, continue to figure out kind of my feel on things, my take on things, and how I'd work with athletes.
And then you had that nice homecoming.
Oh, yes.
Returning to Athens.
Yes, it was great. Getting to be home. I grew up in red and black, so it just feels like I'm back where I'm supposed to be.
Ron Corson had this to say about Collier. She has a tremendous expertise and does a great job not only providing high-quality food for our players, but additionally educating them about performance nutrition. Knowledge is power, and the role she plays in educating our athletes about proper food choices and how to fuel their bodies is extremely important. Collier truly cares about each player and always has their best interest at heart. Every meal is planned to have the maximum benefit, and she is a pleasure to work with. She communicates extremely well with everyone from student athletes to recruits to parents and staff. I believe she is the best sports nutritionist in the country.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And I know her daddy. I haven't seen Lou in years, but Lou was he was the trainer for Georgia baseball back when I was doing play-by-play in college at WUOG.
And Lou has been a big community service kind of person, a former trainer, as you say, with the football team, and former president of the University of Georgia chapter of the National Football Foundation, which has been the #1 chapter in the country 12 of the last 13 years. And Neil, before we go, we like to offer condolences to the family of Robert Davis, longtime coach at Warner Robins, Westside and Macon, the third winningest coach in the state, a giant in coaching and a giant in his community. John Withers, one of the 2 living former members of the Ed Thelenius broadcast crew, scored an ace last week at the Capital City Club at Brookhaven on hole number 6. When John is 90, he'll be shooting his age. Nice to visit with John Jancic this morning at the hotel, former Bulldog assistant under Mark Richt, now a quality control assistant for Coach Kirby Smart.
Very good. Thank you, Lauren. I saw John when we were in Arkansas. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but saw him across the way. All right, very good, Lauren. Thank you. Kirby Smart returns to Alabama for the first time since he left after 9 years and 4 national championships won as an assistant to Nick Saban. We'll get Coach Smart's exclusive scouting report on tonight's clash in less than 10 minutes on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Be sure to pick up sweet, ripe Honeycrisp apples. They're a juicy fall favorite and on sale for just $1.77 a pound with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Football fans, Terrapin Beer Company, Athens' born and bred and longest-running brewery, is proud to be a part of game day and every day. Let's raise our glasses and toast our Athens team with our hometown brew. Make Terrapin a part of your game day weekend traditions. Stop by the brewery Wednesday through Sunday to sample the best beer you can drink. Please drink responsibly, and as always, 21 means 21.
You're listening to Dogs Football, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
It's not really about the tailgating or even being in the stands. It's not even really about winning or losing. It's always been about being with friends and family, making memories for tomorrow while being in the moment today. That's what Georgia football means. Are you ready? We are. Since it's different this season, and many of us can't get up to Athens, we're going to bring Athens to you. Visit harrydoghouse.com to learn how your home gating experience can become one of your best Bulldog memories.
These days, I'm spending a lot more time at home, which means I need ways to easily control my comfort. And here's an insider tip. If you're a Georgia Power residential customer, you may be eligible for up to a $75 instant rebate on a smart thermostat. Here's how. Georgia Power's online marketplace features thermostats from brands like Google Nest, Honeywell, and Ecobee, as well as a variety of LEDs and smart home products like smart speakers, Wi-Fi routers, indoor cameras, and more. Just visit the site and start shopping. Shop now at GeorgiaPowerMarketplace.com.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack it. We sack it for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Here's the final play as the Dogs will win their 4th straight in the series. Right up the chute and a sack on the blitz by Channing Tindall. He finished strong. Garantano goes down back at the 49-yard line. And what a way to finish. That's the ball game.
That was the ball game for Tennessee. Vols lost again today to Kentucky. First time that the Cats have won in Knoxville since 1984, and they ran Tennessee out of the building. Welcome back to the Napa Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How. Lauren Smith, Scott Howard, Eric Zier, Zach Jewell back at our studios in Atlanta. Chris and Tony Schiavone engineering here in Tuscaloosa. And your old buddy Hondo here on the radio as well. And let's see our predictions from last week. Ooh, Scotty.
Gross.
Yeah.
I'm taking chances. I'm taking chances. Come on.
It's a good week that you had.
I see.
Well done.
Did I get one right?
No, you did not.
I didn't?
No.
Oh, I got East Carolina right? Was that the week before?
Yeah, you've got East Carolina here, so you but did South Florida win that game, or did East Carolina?
No, East Carolina won that game.
Well, then Jay's standings are wrong.
See?
Here.
Oh, look at that. We got people.
Jay's standings are wrong.
We got
Scott
people
went
cooking the
1-2.
books.
Everybody went 1-2 last week.
Oh, it doesn't
that
change who's
makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. So Scott's now 5-4, Zier 5-4, Lauren 3-6, and Hondo 4-5. Okay, well. All right, very good. I'm sure you people at home are riveted right now by this conversation and scorekeeping, and we appreciate
Well, it's important to us, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and because we have an 8 o'clock kick here at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and there's only one other FBS game on the kicks after 6:30, we don't have any games to predict. Beginning next week when the other conferences begin to play, we'll have more if we have night games. So what we're going to do is we're going to predict 3 games for next week, and then we'll talk about those in 2 weeks when we're back. More riveting radio here on the Bulldog Sports Network. So we're going to let Scott Howard go first with our first game. It's the return of the Big Ten to football play. Michigan playing at Minnesota. Both are ranked in the top 25 right now. Scott Howard, who do you like?
Michigan at Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
I'll go with Michigan.
All righty.
Based on nothing but sheer gut instinct.
I'm a believer in how they're rowing the boat in Minnesota, and my oldest son is up in those parts now too. So I've got to go with the Golden Gophers.
It's personal for you.
I talked to Zeke on the phone today when Eric and I were driving over here, so that's a good reason for me to pick Minnesota as well.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'm sort of picking Michigan based on tradition. Probably ain't worth even a breath.
Bo ain't coming back, Lauren. South Carolina at LSU, and Lauren, you can take LSU for Charlie McClendon or any other reason that you might like.
Jerry DiNardo.
Paul Dietzel was at South Carolina.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but he can't coach.
Yeah,
he couldn't coach then.
Ooh, man, yeah, that's right.
Lauren, throw down the gauntlet.
Cat sound.
LSU's at home. I'm taking the home team.
All right, Lauren's taking Lauren Smith for LSU. LS for LSU. All right, I am going to go with LSU as well. See?
So, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Where are
I
the
see you thinking about that.
Now? Where are the standings? I'm going to go with LSU too. I think that they're going to rebound. Big win by South Carolina. I'm not sure if they can sustain it 2 weeks in a row. So we'll go LSU.
Yeah, I'm like you. I want to pick South Carolina, but I can't. I got to pick LSU.
All right, I'm going to let Eric's former roommate Will Muschamp know that Eric
picking against him.
Didn't believe. Okay, and now finally Cincinnati at SMU. This week they're both ranked in the top 20. And who hasn't gone first yet? I don't think I have. Let's see. Cincinnati or SMU. Joe Morgan died last week, so I'm going with the Mustangs. Lauren?
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the Mustangs, too, not because of any funeral, but I am.
SMU, that's my pick.
Okay, 3 guys for SMU.
Yep.
Here's your chance.
You can put one more on SMU as well.
All right, very good. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Folks, remember, we want you to tune back in 2 weeks at about 1:25 to get the answers to today's riveting radio. Time now to check where the Dogs rank, presented by North. Northside Hospital. The Northside Hospital Cardiovascular Institute is committed to your good health and the health of your family, and that's no laughing matter. Our physicians treat heart disease with the latest testing and technology. At Northside, they're all about excellence at heart. To schedule an appointment, call 404-962-6000 or visit northsidecvi.com and let the healing begin. We'll come back with more from Tuscaloosa. It's Georgia and Alabama, number 2 against number 3 on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Dogs fans, download the all-new Georgia Football Digital Yearbook now at GeorgiaDogs.com. Exclusive access to a season preview, player profiles, UGA history, and more. It's completely free to access. The Georgia Football Digital Yearbook at GeorgiaDogs.com.
Small business owners, wouldn't it be nice to have a health plan that may give you $8,795 back? It's possible with All Savers alternate funding from United Healthcare. You see, All Savers is based on your employee medical claims only. So if they're lower than expected, you may get a surplus refund at year end. Managing your healthcare costs is critical now, more than ever. So talk to your broker today or visit uhc.com/allsaversga. Administrative services provided by United Healthcare Services Incorporated or their affiliates. Stop loss insurance underwritten by All Savers Insurance Company.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to GeorgiaDogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Alabama. GeorgiaDogs.com/digital.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
NAPA know-how. Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned NAPA. Because right now, when you order from NAPA online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's NAPA know-how. NAPA know-how. At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
Get ready for kickoff at the UGA Bookstore, featuring the best Bulldog gifts and apparel. Shop all the great brands at the UGA Bookstore like Nike, Tommy Bahama, Vineyard Vines, and Southern Tide. The UGA Bookstore is the exclusive home of the UGA 10 collection by Peter Millar. The UGA Bookstore in the heart of campus, next to the Tate Student Center. Shop online 24/7 at UGABookstore.com. The UGA Bookstore, it's where dogs shop.
It's game day, and the Dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Shockley decides to talk and now shift us into a new position, so we go into an eye. He goes underneath. He fakes to the tail. There's a man wide open. Touchdown in the end zone, right down the middle. Jamal Smith, the fullback. Good play action fake. And on a delayed drag, the fullback then ran over the middle.
Welcome back to the Bulldogs Tailgate Show. Scott Howard back with the coach now, Kirby Smart, as we take a look at today's opponent, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Top 3 matchup between number 2 Alabama, number 3 Georgia today. And, Coach, how have you prepared for a wide receiver group like we'll see today from Alabama?
Better rush good. You better rush good. You better not give them long because they eventually are going to find a way to get open, and they've got a good distributor in the gunslinger, and they're talented wideouts.
Tell us a little bit about some of those guys and who you've been watching on tape.
Well, Devontae, everybody knows. He's been there, it seems like forever, from our national championship game when he was a freshman. And, I remember Devontae growing up. He came to camp every year. I was at Alabama. He was like 140 pounds. I didn't think he was ever going to be big enough. And he kept growing and getting bigger and bigger. And, he's built himself into a really good player. They lost 2 first-round picks, and it's still the strength of their team. So if that doesn't tell you anything, the game we played 2 years ago, Jalen Waddle made a bunch of plays. He's all over the field. We got Mark Webb and Eric Stokes running around covering him, same guys. So both those two were significant players in this game before Waddle and Smith, and they're back. And the Minchie kid has really played well. People have tried to take the others away, and he's exposed them.
And statistically, Alabama has the top-rated offense in college football, averaging over 50 points a game after 3 weeks. Why have they been so successful?
What's made them succeed well is players. They've got really good players. Sark does a great job of implementing a system that the kids can execute. It's based on really hard guys to cover outside. They've got, one of probably the best back in the country, if not one of the best backs in the country. Najee runs the ball really hard, and they're massive up front. So offensively, they're not built like some of these teams that go tempo the whole time and go hurry up the whole time. They're built more. They can go with tempo, and they do tempo well, but they're really big. But Alabama capitalizes on a great system with a really good scheme and really good players.
Line of scrimmage is certainly a focal point tonight. Alabama's huge up front on the offensive line.
Yeah, they're just massive. I mean, I don't know that even as good offensive lines as we've had, and when you throw Andrew, Isaiah, and Solly, and, those guys were big people, but these guys, they have a guard bigger than Solly. They've got tackles that are bigger than Andrew and Isaiah in a lot of ways, especially over with Evan. So it's just a big group. They can swallow you up. They can move you. They can mash you. Leatherwood played against us in the national championship game. He came in and played and thought he played really well in that game for a freshman. So they've got experience. That's certainly a really good group of veteran offensive line guys that help them be successful offensively.
Alabama has terrific skill players, and they don't really go that deep. Their front line guys will usually take most of the snaps, like the versatile wideout Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, he's as dynamic and as electric as I've seen. I mean, when he touches the ball, you can see it on tape. It pops off, and it's really not just special teams. They find ways all over the field to get him the ball. They move him around. They motion him. They give him touches every way you can. And, shame on them if they don't, because he's electric when he touches the ball. I mean, he's just a really, really good football player, and he's tough. Man, he's tough. He runs the ball tough. He's physical. So there's a lot of challenges there for us with him. He creates a lot of issues.
Coach, thanks a lot. That's Coach Kirby Smart and our look at the Alabama Crimson Tide. Hondo, we'll send it back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Okay, thank you, Scott, and thank you, Coach, very much. The sun has finally just tipped down behind the south side, or I guess that's the southwest side of Bryant-Denny Stadium here in Tuscaloosa, as we're getting ready for nighttime football between number 2 and number 3. Hope by now you've got the beverages iced down if you haven't already started. More from Tuscaloosa in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
These days I'm spending a lot more time at home, which means I need ways to easily control my comfort. And here's an insider tip. If you're a Georgia Power residential customer, you may be eligible for up to a $75 instant rebate on a smart thermostat. Here's how. Georgia Power's online marketplace features thermostats from brands like Google Nest, Honeywell, and Ecobee, as well as a variety of LEDs and smart home products like smart speakers, Wi-Fi routers, indoor cameras, and more. Just visit the site and start shopping. Shop now at GeorgiaPowerMarketplace.com.
Dogs fans in Athens, we have 2 important rules. Support local business and cheer on the Georgia Bulldogs. This season, we'd like to thank our official hometown team partners for their support of Georgia Athletics, Georgia's Cotton Farmers, Gainesville Mechanical, Homewood Suites by Hilton Athens, and Longhorn Steakhouse in Athens. Learn more about how you can support these great local partners by finding the Hometown Team Partners ad in the digital game program on GeorgiaDogs.com. Support our hometown team partners, and you'll support the Dogs.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm Monty Watson, UGA alum and chairman and CEO of the Piedmont Bank. As a banker, I know numbers, and the numbers that matter most to us Georgia fans are the numbers that are on the scoreboard when the clock runs out. But in business, there's no scoreboard and the clock never stops. That's why at Piedmont Bank, banking is more than the numbers. Our business customers know they're ranked number 1, and that means we never stop helping them reimagine their businesses in Georgia and beyond. Get to know us today at Piedmont.bank/UGA. And most importantly, go Dogs.
The Walton Gas Champions for Charity game is on. That means Because every time the Dogs win a regular season game, Walton Gas will donate $1,000 to these local charities: Camp Twin Lakes, the Salvation Army, the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And for every bowl game the Dogs win, Walton Gas will donate $5,000. Everyone wins with Walton Gas. Always low rates, always great service. Put your game face on and be a champion for charity. Vote for the charity of your choice at waltongas.com/UGA.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Stetson clapping his hands. He waves Mack off to the right. Takes the snap. Looks, throws over the middle. Wide open. Caught. Kieras at the 4. Spins and back pedals into the end zone. Touchdown standing up.
Kieras with one of 2 catches for an aggregate 41 yards on that TD drive last week. Our Napa Tailgate Show continues from our Scana studio at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Scott Howard, Eric Zier, Lauren Smith, and Neil Hondo Williamson on the radio. And now here's Lauren with a guest. Lauren?
Well, it's always nice to talk to Gary Danielson, one of the outstanding sports analysts I think there is. Gary, I learn a lot of football when I listen to you. Unfortunately, don't get to hear you very often because of the Georgia games, conflicts with where you are and what you're doing. But the big game coming up this week, game of the week in the SEC, how do you see Georgia-Alabama?
I'm so close to this game because of, being able to do the SEC championships. And, I did the 2012, the 5-yard line game. We did the Jalen Hurts game, so doing this game, it has a lot of, memories, tough memories for Georgia fans, but competitive memories for me, just how hard these two teams compete. And I know this game will be no different. A lot of great players on the field. The players really enjoy playing against each other. They were all recruited. They know they're all good players, and they really enjoy competing against each other.
Well, now last week, Alabama gave up a lot of points in Oxford. Is that an anomaly, or is certainly that wouldn't seem to be a trend or a pattern with the Nick Saban defense?
Well, unfortunately, I think it is lately, Lauren. The Alabama defense of the past where, they would have on you remember those old days with the, Vince Dooley and Bear, they would have the goal posted in the locker rooms, and the defensive goal was to hold the team to 17 points and less than 300 yards total offense. Well, all that stuff has kind of changed now. The rules of the game has changed. What the offenses can do to the defenses, pick plays, offensive linemen downfield, jet sweeps, just the more willingness to throw the ball. It's just tougher for these defenses to stop them. I think when you go into a football game nowadays, it's always possible that your defense could shut another team down. But, if you got fairly even football players on the field, the offense has a pretty big advantage in these games. And I think when you go into a game like this, you better be ready on offense to say, we got to get close to 30, 31, 33 points, or our defenses could be under siege and we won't be able to win this football game. What happened in the Ole Miss was something you might not see very often and don't see. But I think overall, the dominating defenses of the past, I don't know if they can stand up. Georgia this year, if you're looking for an anomaly, might be the one anomaly in college football, a team that is built around their defense rather than their offense. I don't know if I can name another team in the country that it's built that way.
Well, can Georgia score enough points to win?
I think they can. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think you look at their offensive firepower, you look at the what they have, and even in Stetson Bennett, he's a very competitive, plucky kid. He believes in himself even when no one else believed him. Those are my type of guys. I went through that in my career. I walked on in the NFL. For a person like Stetson Bennett, competing every day in practice is like playing a game every day. He knew every day that he either had to play up to a high level or he could get forgotten in the chain of quarterbacks and coaches looking at him and being seen. He just has instinctively that competitive spirit. So, yes, I think they have it. I do think that they're not built the way Ole Miss is built, and it's not likely to be, a 500-yard offensive game. But if they can get, over 350 yards with their defense, that could be enough in this game. But going into the game, Lauren, I think they have to look at, they better get 28 points on the board. It seems to me it's going to be hard for them to win.
Well, that's a good analysis. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you this afternoon in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Our friend Gary Danielson, we go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Gary. Georgia and Alabama from the capstone tonight. We'll hear a classic Munson highlight from the Dogs' first ever win here on Alabama's campus. That's in 2 minutes on the Bulldog Sports Network.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and I'm here with legendary Georgia Bulldog quarterback and radio host Buck Ballou.
Ken and I are teaming up to give back to the brave men and women of our military. Ken's going to donate $500 to one member of the military every Bulldog football game this season.
If you're a member of the military in Atlanta, go to attorneykennugent.com to enter.
And somebody's going to win $500 every game.
One click.
That's it.
Ken Nugent, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
We're here to help you save on the food and essentials you need. Just buy 5 or more participating sale items and you'll save $1 each with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
At BMW, we made the ultimate range of SAVs. And because each of the 7 X-Range sports activity vehicles flawlessly balance dynamic power, spacious size, and sleek design, you can choose from a fleet that fits perfectly into your life. Like the versatile and bold X1, the unbelievably powerful X3, or the luxurious X7. No matter who you are, no matter where you're going, no matter what's next, there's an X to take you there.
Proud sponsor of Georgia Athletics. Visit BMWATL.com for great offers. Go Dogs.
Hey, Georgia Bulldogs, let's talk about your home game setup. You're probably watching from your living room, which might double as your home office, and maybe even a bedroom. Well, with rates at historic lows, it's a great time to refinance with Rocket Mortgage and get cash out of your home. Cash which you can use to remodel a basement or a den into the ultimate fan cave. When you're ready to upgrade your home game, Rocket can. Get started at rocketmortgage.com. Rocket Mortgage, proud mortgage partner of Georgia Athletics.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Look at the sugar falling out of the sky.
We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose.
Georgia football history through the voice of a legend.
My God almighty, did you see what he did? You talk about a stupid miracle.
Here's another listen back to Larry Munson's greatest calls. Presented by Northside Hospital, Atlanta, with decades of experience performing both routine and complex surgeries. Northside Hospital leads Georgia in surgery innovation. Learn more at northside.com/surgery.
And Green comes back. They're coming up behind him. He doesn't see him. He throws a long pass to Fred Gibson, who caught the ball. He fell down, but he caught it on his back. Fred Gibson, a sensational catch down on the goal line, with Madison the corner with him, caught a one-handed ball lying on his whatchamacallit, and Fred Gibson scored sliding in the end zone, and it's 13-3.
Larry Munson's great call from 2002, David Green and Fred Gibson hooking up on a crucial early TD score for Georgia. The Dogs had never won in Tuscaloosa until that sunny day, and UGA came out on top 27-25. We won again here in 2007, and we'll try to do it again tonight as number 2 Alabama hosts number 3 Georgia. Thank you for tuning in to the NAPA Tailgate Show. Dogs fans, the official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into today's matchup against Alabama. That's georgiadogs.com/digital. It's 68 degrees right now. They say it's going to drop 3 more degrees in the next 20 minutes, down to 65. By the time we finish up today, we ought to be all the way down to about 54 here in southwestern Alabama, south central Alabama, and that's our western central Alabama, wherever the heck we are. And it's getting cool, in other words, folks. And we'll have Mr. College Football joins us in 2 minutes on the Bulldog Sports Network.
You've got a great piece of land, ideal for hunting, but when it comes to managing that land, don't count on an ATV to do the job of a tractor. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact tractors can be and redefined what they do, making our tractors perfect for the cutting, hauling, digging, and plowing you need to do to create food plots and manage trails. Learn more at masseyferguson.us. See the newly designed Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700 M Series today.
Thousands of locally owned NAPA stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, we do too. And that's why you can find us in big cities, small towns, and everywhere in between, doing what we've always done to help keep our local communities moving forward. So whether you stop by a NAPA Auto Parts store, Auto Care Center, or visit us at NAPA online, you can count on NAPA know-how.
You're listening to Dogs Football, sponsored by Progressive. Drivers who save with Progressive save over $750 on average.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big blow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
Northside Hospital reminds you to stay safe and stay healthy during the pandemic. It's easy to do a few simple things every day. Wash your hands frequently and disinfect hard surfaces in your home. Don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Always wear a mask in public and wash your hands before and after removing your mask. And if you're in a crowded place, stay at least 6 feet apart from others. For more information and CDC safety guidelines, go to northside.com/COVID-19.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Alabama. georgiadogs.com/digital.
Play here.
Wow! Power straight ahead. Touchdown!
You're listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Alabama fourth down, about 30. 19 seconds, 18 seconds. Athens, Georgia rocking. Gosh, after all that wild noise last night, how could they possibly match that tonight? Georgia leading 21-0. Listen to the stadium. Alabama's Rutledge. They rush him. They knock him down behind the line. Harris, the secondary. They threw him for another loss. Students and kids are pouring out on the field. Georgia has upset Alabama 21-0.
1976, Vince Dooley's Bulldogs blanked Bear Bryant's Crimson Tide between the hedges. Lauren, I know you were there that day, and I spent the night previous on the railroad tracks, and my guess is that your guest was in attendance as well. Let's hand it over to Lauren.
So happy today to welcome to our show Tony Barnhart, who probably has had one of the most interesting careers and is still going. College football analyst, although we don't see him in the paper like we used to. The newspaper scene has changed. Everything's electronic, or seems to be. But he wrote well enough, written books, that he has been elected as a contributor to the state of Georgia. Sports Hall of Fame will be inducted in Macon. Tony, congratulations. Nice honor. And I hope you're excited, as we were, all of us having anything to do with the Hall, to see you get elected.
Well, thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. It's an incredible honor. When you grow up in a little town like Union Point, Georgia, you don't know how your life is going to turn out, but thanks to a lot of great teachers and coaches and people like you when I was at Georgia. It has been a wonderful career, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, Tony, I read your stuff forever, and I find that you have an interesting style. You're not a investigative reporter. You're not out to do a hatchet job, but you've done a good job of getting to the heart of the matter and keeping friends with those you have to report and cover on. Was that a conscious effort, or is it just sort of natural?
I just sort of felt like, Lauren, my role was to be a storyteller and a historian, just like you are. I am fascinated by college football history. There are parts of the reporting job that you have to do. There's certain things you have to do from a news standpoint. I understand that. But my preference is to be a historian and a storyteller.
Well, you've done that very well. And as somebody said about you not too long ago, I like to read Tony because, it's always something positive. So there's so much negative in the out there today. I say newspapers, but gosh, it's hard to say newspapers because that's changed so much. Do you miss the days of the AJC when 12, 15-page sections every day?
I was at the AJC at a really great time. The 70s and the 80s were really the high watermark for newspapers. The internet had not come. They were making lots of money because they were the only game in town other than radio. I will always consider myself an old newspaper guy. Now, I left the AJC in 2008. I've been there 25 years and had a big decision to make to transition into radio and television for the most part, and I made that. I'll always be an old newspaper guy.
But you adapted to the broadcast side, worked with CBS, flying to New York on weekends for a long period of time. What was that career like?
It was wonderful. Back in 2005, I guess it was, I had the opportunity to go to New York and do the pregame show with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman, and we found a chemistry right away. And so I did that for 8 years. Didn't do it every Saturday, did about half the Saturdays. And then when I left the AJC in 2008, Michael Resco, VP for programming at CBS, called and said, hey, we'd like you to do your own show on the cable side, the CBS Sports Network, cable version of CBS. And I did that for 4 years. So I had a bunch of weeks in that stretch of time, 2008, 2009, 10, where I would fly to New York on Monday and tape my show on Tuesday, then fly back to New York on Friday to do the weekend show with Brando and Tillman. So I got all the frequent flyer miles you want by going to New York.
We'd like to thank Tony for joining us and congratulate him again. Real quick, Georgia, Alabama, how do you see it in 2 sentences?
I like Georgia in this game if they can avoid the big play on defense in the passing game. That's what Alabama likes to do. They like the short passing game to set up the deep shots. Georgia can't get beat by those deep shots.
Very good analysis, and we thank you, and we go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Tony, always great to hear from my friend and neighbor, and congratulations indeed. This is the NAPA Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. Eric Zier swinging a weighted bat in the on-deck circle. And hang on, let me see that Model Z. Ooh, Marcelo Zuna. Nice choice. Eric will remove the donut from his lumber and step to the microphone with a look at Georgia's defense and the challenges presented by Alabama's 51 points per game offense. Z in 2 minutes on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Dogs fans want exclusive access to season previews and game day information heading into the upcoming season? Then be sure to log on to GeorgiaDogs.com to download the 2020 Georgia Football Digital Fan Guide. Get everything you need to know heading into the season at GeorgiaDogs.com.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
Dogs fans want exclusive access to season previews and game day information heading into the upcoming season? Then be sure to log on to GeorgiaDogs.com to download the 2020 Georgia Football Digital Fan Guide. Get everything you need to know heading into the season at GeorgiaDogs.com.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Neil Honda Williamson for Engineered Solutions of Georgia. If you see cracks on the first and second floors of your home, don't ignore them. Call ESOG, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. Spending all this time at home will really reveal the flaws in your house and yard. But you know what defect you never actually see? Termites. Neil Hondo Williamson here from my friends at Breda Pest Management. Now, while my house can use several improvements, I'm confident our termite protection is flawless. With Breda, our home is protected from termites with no gaps in the coverage. Breda Pest Management, BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
At Zaxby's, there's nothing better than hand-breaded chicken, unless it's hand-breaded chicken with sauce. From sweet to savory, mild to wild, even that world-famous Zax sauce. Whatever you're craving, we've got the sauce at Zaxby's.
Counting you down to kickoff.
He goes down underneath. Big George Davis crushed.
You're listening to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Ball's on the near hash, moving left. Two receivers to the short side, two to the wide side. Snap to Garantano. Here comes pressure. We got to get him. Sack and the ball's knocked out. Back picked up by Rice at the 20, the 10, the 5. Monty Rice, touchdown.
Monty Rice with the rare 4S defensive highlight, a strip, sack, scoop, and score last work versus the Volunteers. Prior to last week's game, we were subjected to 7 days or more of talk of Tennessee's immovable offensive front. And then the Dogs swallowed UT whole and spit them out. This week, similar refrains regarding Alabama's spectacularly effective offense.
It's just a big group. They can swallow you up. They can move you. They can mash you.
Here's Georgia coach Kirby Smart. Welcome back to the Napa Tailgate Show. And Eric Zier alongside Neil Hondo Williamson, Scott Howard, and Lauren Smith. Z, no doubt the Bama offense has put up arcade-type numbers. Last week, the Tide hung 63 points on Ole Miss, scored touchdowns on 9 of 11 possessions, and fumbled once inside the Rebels' 5-yard line. How much better is Bama than what we thought we were going to see from Tennessee?
Yeah, a lot better. As a matter of fact, I think they're closer to what we saw in LSU in terms of offensive firepower. LSU's offense last year that was obviously nationally renowned, one of the best offenses that many of us have seen in a long time. Alabama's not there, but they're a whole lot closer to that than what we saw against Tennessee. Bama averaging 51 points per game, 560 yards per game, 385 of those through the air. They are converting an unbelievable 64.5% on third down. They are explosive across the board. All that being said, they haven't seen a defense like Georgia either. It is going to be a great matchup of strength on strength.
Alabama's quarterback, Mac Jones, his numbers, they're just absurd as well, Zay, when leading all of that.
Yeah, they really are. He's 6'3", 214 pounds, 80% completion rate Alabama scored touchdowns on 22 of the 29 possessions quarterbacked by Mac Jones. Only one interception on the year. He's got complete command of this offense. He's got a lot of playmakers out there as well. He's flipping it around in complete control.
All right, when he's not slicing and dicing via the air to Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, Mac Jones is handing off primarily to Najee Harris. Harris leads the SEC in rushing with 116 yards per game and rushing TDs with 10 in 3 games, including 5 touchdowns last week against Ole Miss.
They've got, one of probably the best back in the country, if not one of the best backs in the country. Najee runs the ball really hard, and they're massive up front.
That's Coach Kirby Smart talking about Najee Harris and the massive offensive line. Alabama wants to be balanced. They are throwing the football a lot, and they should. They've got a trio of great receivers, but make no mistake about it, they still want to play physical. They still want to get the football to Najee Harris. We have got, if we want to slow down this Alabama offense, I really think we have to go on the attack, be the aggressor, and out-physical this Alabama football team, which nobody's been able to do yet.
All right, thus far in 2020, Georgia's defense has more than lived up to its offseason hype. Dogs lead the conference in total defense, surrendering only 236 yards per game, just 38 yards rushing per contest. UGA has been especially dominant in second halves, outscoring the Oppo 62-6.
I thought in all 3 games they became more energized in the the kind of the most important moments of the game in the second half. They've increased the intensity.
There's Coach Smart. We'll hear from him with an exclusive interview with Scott Howard in the next 30 minutes or so. We'll see what we've got tonight against the Alabama Juggernaut, that's for sure. All right, thank you, Eric Zier. Come back and game plan in 10. Excellent. The voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, joins us next. It's number 3, Georgia, number 2, Alabama. Drink will flow and blood will spill at 8:10 on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Northside Hospital reminds you to stay safe and stay healthy during the pandemic. It's easy to do a few simple things every day. Wash your hands frequently and disinfect hard surfaces in your home. Don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Always wear a mask in public and wash your hands before and after removing your mask. And if you're in a crowded place, stay at least 6 feet apart from others. For more information and CDC safety guidelines, go to northside.com/COVID-19.
Dealing with constant changes, not easy. Letting go of my inner perfectionist, not easy. But crossing a few things off my financial to-do list, surprisingly simple.
Regent's tools and advice make it easy to manage your money. From podcasts and webinars to budget and savings calculators, we'll help you find your financial comfort zone.
Those few little financial tweaks have made a big difference.
Check off some financial to-dos at regents.com/brave the beginning. Regents Bank, member FDIC, official bank of the SEC.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
At Zaxby's, chicken and delicious go hand in hand. As in hand-breaded, hand-seasoned, and handmade to order. There's only one place you can get chicken like that. Zaxby's.
Glory! Glory to old Georgia! The Dogs are unleashed, and so are the savings. Scana Energy is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. So sing, cheer, and put on your red and black in honor of our team. Celebrate the Dogs' journey to glory this football season with Scana Energy by calling 877-GO-SCANA or visiting scanaenergy.com to save.
Dogs fans, download the all-new Georgia Football Digital Yearbook now at GeorgiaDogs.com. Exclusive access to a season preview, player profiles, UGA history, and more. It's completely free to access. The Georgia Football Digital Yearbook at GeorgiaDogs.com.
It's game day for the Dogs.
Throw into the end zone. Touchdown Pickens. Touchdown Pickens. Back right corner.
Let's rejoin the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Milton is in the backfield now for Georgia. Toss to the left to Kendall Milton. 35, 30, hit at the 28, still upright. Bouncing, puts his hand on the ground, still driving. Milton driving down to the 22, maybe the 21. What balance and what courage as he bounced and bounced and bounced off Tennessee tacklers, put his hand on the turf at one point to stay upright and got down to the 22-yard line.
I counted 6 tackles broken on that run versus Tennessee last week.
That was pretty impressive. Just that one run, then you can leave the game and just go out on top. Like,
that's right,
that
drop the mic, right? Very good. Scott Howard back with us right now. And Kendall Milton, just one of several Bulldogs freshmen who are contributing substantially to UGA's number 3 ranking. Receiver Jermaine Burton collected 2 receptions versus the Vols last Saturday, plus added this huge gainer on the ground.
From the 25, they toss it on a reverse to Burton, coming near side with blocking. Burton, 35-40, cuts to the sideline, 50, 45-40, jumps over a man at the 35 and out of bounds at the Tennessee 32-yard line. Jermaine Burton.
Burton, a freshman from Calabasas, California, has started all 3 games for the Dogs. He's been in the starting lineup all 3 games. We'd like to welcome you back to the Napa Tailgate Show and the voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, with us. And Scott, recruits everywhere must take notice of Kendall Milton, Jermaine Burton, Darnell Washington coming in and getting minutes, lots of minutes right away.
Indeed. I mean, they like that. If you're a freshman, you want to tell yourself, hey, I'm going to get playing time in my first year. And, a lot of these kids probably think they're going to come in and start, but that's not always the case. But Burton with that nice run, as you just heard, that's our longest run from scrimmage this year by anybody. Mm-hmm. So he's a wide receiver. But for Milton to get minutes and Burton, who has been starting, and Darnell Washington, that opens the eyes of freshmen, I think, about the Georgia program that says, we're going to get a shot. If we come in and put in the work, we're going to get a shot to get some minutes.
At number 3 in the nation.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Yeah, not too shabby. Very good. Of course, we don't want to forget Jalen Carter, the nose, returned receiver last week, who pulled in a 2-yard TD catch. And, the following day, and I'm sure you've seen, Scott, New York Giants rookie offensive tackle and former Bulldogs All-American Andrew Thomas caught a 2-point conversion. These guys got some mitts.
Yeah, they've got good hand. Well, Jalen has an offensive background. I mean, he played a lot of offense in high school. He was a fullback. Can you imagine that in high school?
Fullback.
Can you imagine that at this level? I mean, here's a 300-pounder like last week, and the poor Tennessee defender that tried to stop him at the goal line was just on his back. And Carter finished the play standing up with the touchdown. So. That's certainly a handful at any level, much less a high school kid that's that kind of size. I mean, that's just complete domination.
Yeah, we talked last week about how you can Google and see him dunking a basketball.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
And, one-handed catches.
That's good stuff.
He's a heck of an athlete. All right, changing course while I have you here, Scott. After last week's 63-48 victory over Ole Miss, Alabama coach Nick Saban suggested the Rebels might have picked up the Tide's defensive signals. Now, many conspiracy theorists, I don't know if any of them have poisoned trees lately, but several folks felt that Lane Kiffin might have remembered signals from his time coaching under Saban 4 years ago. Isn't that a long reach?
I think, that's definitely a reach. Don't they change those things? Like, if not every year, they probably change them game by game, depending on who's on the other side. But maybe it was just a case of, Ole Miss ran some good plays and they ran them at the right time, and Alabama's defense wasn't up to snuff last week.
No kidding. Now, if I were a paranoid Crimson Tide fan, this week what I'd be looking for on the Georgia sideline is men dressed in Houston Astros jerseys banging trash cans with a baseball bat.
Or maybe Kirby remembers all the signals from 5 years ago.
Crazy, huh? All right, thank you so much, Scott. Looking forward to your call. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldog Sports Network. Eric Zier has a game plan for an epic battle between third-ranked Georgia and the number 2 Crimson Tide, and he'll bring it to you in 2 minutes. Plus, up next, it's the Ken Nugent Call of the Week on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Everybody remembers the amazing light show last year when we ran the Fighting Irish out of Sanford Stadium that made Georgia the envy of college football. I'm Kenny Mullins, business manager for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Every light in Sanford Stadium was installed by an IBEW electrician. We also light up the practice facility and many other buildings on campus. Learn more about the IBEW at IBEW613.org. Go Dogs!
Just when you think you've seen it all, here comes Fast and Easy Buy from Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. The fastest, easiest way to buy your next new car, truck, or SUV. I'm talking sub-4 340 fast. Pick your vehicle, pick your financing, and then pick it up. Now that's fast. Shop from your phone, your computer, anywhere. Fast and Easy Buy from Athens Dodge, 4145 Atlanta Highway, or AthensDCJR.com. Ram Power Days.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
At Subway restaurants, deals are delicious. And right now, you can choose from 2 great deals on delicious meals. Get a 6-inch cold cut combo, spicy Italian or Black Forest ham, plus chips and a 20-ounce drink for just $6. Or choose a 6-inch chicken and bacon ranch melt, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, or steak and cheese, plus chips and a 20-ounce drink for just $7. Either way, you get a great deal on a delicious meal. Only at Subway restaurants. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Additional charge for extras, plus applicable tax. No additional discounts or coupons may be applied.
These days I'm spending a lot more time at home, which means I need ways to easily control my comfort. And here's an insider tip. If you're a Georgia Power residential customer, you may be eligible for up to a $75 instant rebate on a smart thermostat. Here's how. Georgia Power's online marketplace features thermostats from brands like Google Nest, Honeywell, and Ecobee, as well as a variety of LEDs and smart home products like smart speakers, Wi-Fi routers, indoor cameras, and more. Just visit the site and start shopping. Shop now at GeorgiaPowerMarketplace.com.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack it. We sack it for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
This moment of commitment is brought to you by Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance, always the home team. The University of Georgia is committed to serving the people and communities of this state. That's why we support small business owners, partner with farmers, turn our citizens' ideas into innovations, and educate tomorrow's leaders. It's more than our mission. It's more than our passion. It's our commitment.
Dogs are taking their time. Kendall Milton in the ball game. I see Big Carter in there. Going to line up in the eye. Carter the fullback, Milton the tailback. Big Jordan Davis, an extra lineman left. Play fake. Milton. Bennett rolls. Throws it to the tight end. No, the fullback. He threw it to Carter. He threw it to Carter. Touchdown. Ho-ho. Wow, what a play. The fullback, the defensive lineman just caught the touchdown. And now flags as Georgia celebrates in the end zone.
That's today's Make the Call presented by Ken Nugent. One call, that's all. From our ScanUp broadcast booth in the press box at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Welcome back to the NAPA Tailgate Show. Time now for today's game plan, brought to you by Country Financial. Don't get overwhelmed. Get started at countryfinancial.com. At Arkansas in the opener, we had a slow start. Last week versus Tennessee, we certainly performed far better in the second half than the first.
My focus is on why are we not doing that from the start? Why are we not executing better from the start and dominating the opponent instead of keeping people in the game? We got to do a good job of dominating from start to finish.
There's Coach Smart and Eric Zier. I'm sorry, but I don't see the trend of, quote, slow starts quite yet. Arkansas, yes. Then we changed quarterbacks. Versus Auburn, we whooped their you-know-whats in the first half. And with Tennessee, yeah, we gave them a gift TD, right? And we had an inability to convert on short yardage. I don't think that exactly adds up to a trend of slow starts. But a slow start tonight, that could pretend,
no question. I think what we've done is we've kept two teams in the football game early on. That if we have the penalties that we saw against Arkansas that just crushed drives and kept Arkansas in the football game. The bot snap against Tennessee that led to a touchdown for Tennessee and just not able to get anything going and convert on third downs and really get running. You're right, against Auburn, started that football game fast, finished fast, but if we have any of those negative plays and can't get something going against Alabama where we give up a defensive touchdown or we give them good field position, Alabama's good enough, they're strong enough, they're the number 2 team in the country, they're going to take advantage of it, and you dig yourself a hole against a team like Alabama, very, very difficult to dig back out of it the way we have against Arkansas and against Tennessee. So really critical we play 4 quarters today.
Well, Alabama's had problems of their own with their once vaunted defense. The Crimson Tide surrendered a program worth 647 yards to Ole Miss last week. The Rebels didn't just chuck the ball all over the yard. Ole Miss ran for 268 yards on 57 attempts. Alabama was ranked 37th in run defense in 2019, has the same rank today, and there are a lot fewer teams playing. So 2 questions for you, Eric Zier. Where the heck has Bama's defense gone the past couple of years, and will we see Coach Kirby Smart attempt to control the ball and the clock tonight? tonight.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see a better Alabama defense. You don't become the coach that Nick Saban's become and put together the program that he's become if you don't make adjustments and improvements week over week. I think Alabama will be dramatically improved, but you're right. It's not just this year. You go back into last year, the physicality from his Alabama defense, definitely not what it was 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. You're seeing missed assignments, not ready for tempo. You're seeing missed tackles in the defensive secondary. So a lot of things to work on for this Alabama defense, although I think they'd be better. They are vulnerable. I think you can trace that back to teams take on a mentality, and as soon as Alabama went to more of a spread out, wide open offense, that mentality, that up-pace mentality and finesse mentality, if you will, trickled over, I think, into the defensive part of this program. And will Coach Smart want to control the clock? Absolutely. Right now, teams averaging just over 32 minutes of ball control against this Alabama football team right now. For us to win today, we've got to be more physical. We want to control the clock, no question. We want to be able to run the football, because one of the best defenses against this Alabama offense is you control the ball. That being said, you can't control the ball and give up massive explosive plays throughout the game where they're putting points on the board.
All right, great job, Eric. Thank you. Coach Smart gives us his exclusive inside skinny on tonight's collision with Alabama. That's less than 10 minutes away. We're jacked up in Tuscaloosa, baby. We know you are too, wherever you are listening. Thank you for that. Number 3 Georgia versus number 2 Alabama tonight at 8:10 on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Sports Physical right around the corner from Piedmont Quick Care at Walgreens. With 27 locations offering extended hours and most open 7 days a week, you can book online to get in, get out, and get on your way to a championship year. Visit piedmont.org/UGA to schedule a sports physical today. Patient care services provided by Piedmont Healthcare. Piedmont Quick Care at Walgreens. One stop to better.
The relief on the hot water heater failed. Pouring gallons of water into your finished basement. The drainage hose on your dishwasher breaks. Sending an endless stream of water onto your kitchen and living room hardwood floors. No matter what happens in your home, the cleanup and restoration specialists at ServPro will be with you every step of the way until you're back on your feet. So when fire or water damage strikes, call on ServPro to make it like it never even happened. 1-800-ServPro and ServPro.com.
This is Georgia Bulldogs football, sponsored by Progressive's Home Insurance. Get your quote at Progressive.com today.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they are saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
What if I could buy online at Discount Tire and get the same advice I get from the experts in the store?
You can. Our Treadwell Tire Guide finds the perfect tire for you based on your driving habits.
I want to save time and book an appointment online.
Book your appointment, get expedited check-in, and be placed at the front of the line for the next available day.
And have the choice of never leaving my car when I get to the store.
The touchless experience. So simple.
It's genius.
Find out more at discounttire.com.
It's game day, and the dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
3rd and long for the Vols. 3rd and 14. Garantano, pressure from the edges. He'll be sacked. He lost the ball. It's on the ground. We go diving for it. Dogs ball. Azeez Ojulari. A strip sack. Dogs have it at the 15.
Azeez Ojulari and company passed the test with that sack and a drubbing of then 14th-ranked Tennessee between the hedges. Tonight, our Bulldogs take on their 3rd consecutive top 14 ranked opponent, at number 2, Alabama.
I don't think the players need motivating. I really don't. I mean, not for this game. In any scenario, they don't need motivating. It's 2 versus 3. It's Alabama versus Georgia. They realize what's at stake.
There's Coach Kirby Smart, and welcome back to the NAPA Tailgate Show. We're joined once again by Scott Howard, Eric Zier, and Lauren Smith. I'm Neil Williamson. Great stat that I think I read on DogNation.com this week. Alabama racked up 723 yards of offense and 63 points in the win at Ole Miss last week. Georgia, meanwhile, has surrendered 710 yards and 37 points in its first 3 games combined. So less on both counts than Alabama was able to rack up last week at Ole Miss. So what to expect from this potentially wild challenge tonight? Scott, your take first, please, sir.
Well, I think those numbers tell us that Georgia is pretty good on defense, and that last week the other guy on the Ole Miss side wanted to make it a track meet, and I guess Alabama kind of obliged in that way. There wasn't a whole lot of defense in that game, certainly. I think Alabama has some issues they have to answer on defense. They've given up points in every game, and they've given up yards in every game. It's not like they've stuffed anybody, but their offense is so outstanding that they've just run away from other teams. But I think to take away from the numbers you threw out there, Neil, number one is that Georgia's defense is very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lori?
Well, I just hope the gods of fate smile on Stetson Bennett tonight. So deserving young man. So is Kirby. To have played so well in the national championship game and to have so many bad breaks, and then in the SEC championship game a year later. Remember what Gary Danielson said early, that it's not an anomaly that Ole Miss scored 48 points on Alabama. He said the anomaly is Georgia playing the defense that it's playing. So I think that we have got to move the ball, score on offense. That's obvious. Even a fifth grader could probably tell us that. But the big thing I hope we don't do on defense, and that is it's like a pitcher playing great throughout a game but giving up a couple of gopher balls.
Yeah.
You just cannot have that.
Yeah, well, no question it's going to be strength on strength when you look at this Alabama offense that arguably is the best in the game of college football right now. You could probably put Clemson up there in that ranking as well. Georgia's defense, Georgia's 73-7. Is that what? Can we say that one more time?
I heard that somewhere.
Who'd they play?
Tech.
Yeah. So it's so two of Alabama, one of the 2 top offenses in the game of football right now against Georgia that has got the best defense in football. It's going to be a great matchup. I do think Georgia has to keep this game within striking distance. If this becomes a shootout, get north of 30 points, I think it's going to be tough treading. But Georgia's defense, even as vaunted as this Alabama offense is, Georgia's defense is good enough to shut anybody they play down.
All right. Wow.
I can tell you that one thing is important. Our kid's not afraid of Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, that is important, and I believe you are right. Well, in the state of wide-open offenses, you can't just hand the ball off to Herschel 40 times anymore and hope to win. The Dogs will need a passing game to fortify our offense, and Coach Smart and company will turn to 2-time transfer, former walk-on Stetson Bennett to take the mantle.
Skilled players on offense, and the offensive line, they all trust and rally around him because they know he understands what we're trying to do offensively, and he can put them in good situations.
Stet has fun competing, and for me, just being able to protect a guy like that and to listen to a guy like that and look up to a guy like that means nothing more you can want from a quarterback. Just a guy that doesn't like to lose.
I think Stetson's a great quarterback. He puts it right on the money. So I feel like all of his everything he throws is catchable ball. He puts it in the right spot. Makes it easy for us on the receiving end.
That's tight end Trey McKinney, preceded by tackle Jamari Salyer and Coach Smart, all revealing faith in Stetson Bennett. Lauren, so far Stetson has played smart, productive, winning football in 11-plus quarters. While it may be a surprise to our fans, when you hear the players talk about him, it's not as though they're saying, hey, we're as shocked as you are. They're not like that at all about Stetson.
No, they have confidence in him. And, somebody who really likes him is somebody who knew all about not big enough, not fast enough, not tall enough. Fran Tarkenton, I talked to Fran twice last week. He loves Stetson Bennett because he says he's got the stuff that it takes to run the club. Smart, all of that. He can take a hit when he gets out of the pocket. His 2 runs for touchdowns hitting the pylon, pretty good nifty running.
Oh, yeah.
So it reminds me of Eric couple of times.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Very good. Stetson Bennett has passed for 689 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions this season. Not to mention the 2 dives that Lauren just talked about. One for a 2-point conversion at Arkansas, the other for a TD last week against Tennessee.
Yeah, Stetson plays with a moxie. He's got an awful lot of confidence. That confidence is growing as he becomes comfortable in the position as a starting quarterback for the University of Georgia. For me, the thing that really stands out is just his maturity, the calming influence he had on this, and he's having on this offense. The team around him believes in him. And when that occurs and you become the leader of a unit, you elevate the play of everybody around you, and that's what Stetson's been able to do. I think his athletic ability, the way he's been able to run the football, we knew he could throw it. I mean, he can spin it. He can make every throw that you need to make. But his ability to extend plays and make things happen with his legs, and just the way he stays in this offense in each game, never getting outside of himself. If he does that today, I think the success that he's had is going to continue.
Let's give him a nickname, the Believer from Blackshear.
Okay, or the mailman.
Or the mailman.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, he may be the most, or the unlikeliest of heroes, I guess is what we should call him. And he gets the call tonight and receives the opportunity to cement his place in Bulldogs lore against second-ranked Alabama. Last thing to discuss, men, Nick Saban. Your thoughts on the 72-hour Saban soap opera, Scott?
Saved by the bell. Wednesday it was, and then today it's like. So he'll be on the sidelines tonight and coaching as if nothing happened during the week, I guess, wearing his mask to prevent being, as who was it that used to run for Seattle, the running back, and I can't think of
Marshawn Lynch.
Yes, thank you. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Yeah.
It's a little more than that tonight with Nick Saban on the sideline. He goes, I want to be here and I don't want to get fined. So he'll be down there on the sidelines and doing what he normally does.
Yeah, well, first of all, glad that he's healthy and doing well. You never want to see anything bad happen to anybody. It's actually, I think, a good thing that he's here. It eliminates the distraction for both teams. You've got a full squad, full coaching staff here, and what's going to be maybe the biggest game of the year within the regular season. So if you're going to go in and play Alabama, and you're going to go in and beat Alabama, it's better to have Nick Saban on the sideline than off of it.
I feel the same way. I have nothing negative to say about what's happened, what he's done, and I felt like I said early in the week, probably if it comes down to it, I didn't know the rule, he'd probably be quarantined in a booth somewhere talking to the offensive and defensive coordinators. But if it were Kirby, I'd want to be able to have the same scenario play out.
Oh, yeah, me too. No doubt about it. All right, great job tonight, gentlemen. Number 3, Georgia. Number 2, Alabama. Our team may have lost heartbreakers to these guys in the past few years, but Coach Smart assures us that his team is not intimidated by recent or legacy history.
I don't think the psyche or the disposition of most of these kids is that way. I mean, our kids all got recruited by Alabama. They know Alabama's players. They played in all-star games with Alabama's players. They all these kids know each other now. It's just so different that they don't necessarily see it by wins and losses and just championships.
More from Coach Smart in 2 minutes. His exclusive Inside Skinny on tonight's primetime bloodbath is coming up on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Glory to old Georgia. The dogs are unleashed, so are the savings. Scana Energy is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. So sing, cheer, and put on your red and black in honor of our team. Celebrate the dogs' journey to glory this football season with Scana Energy by calling 877-GO-SCANA or visiting scanaenergy.com to save.
Slot right, blue 42, hot. Great quarterbacks are rare. They're true leaders with a work ethic that never wavers and a desire to win that is second to none. We know a truck like that. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 43 years straight. With impressive towing and payload, Ford F-150 makes tough jobs look easy. Visit your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150, the official truck of the Georgia Bulldogs. Based on 1977 to 2019 calendar year total sales.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they're saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
You always dreamed of owning your own farm. Now you're living your dream, and it's time to pick the tractor that makes it all come together. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact and utility tractors can be and redefined what they do, making them easier to operate, more comfortable to drive, more versatile than ever. Learn more at masseyferguson.us. See the newly redesigned Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700M Series today.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
And now we'll run it into the end zone off the right side. Touchdown, Zamir White.
Welcome back to the Bulldogs Tailgate Show. Scott Howard back to catch up with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart. Georgia and Alabama are coming up here at Bryant-Denny Stadium very shortly. And actually, we feel quite fortunate just to have a chance to play this game tonight after the news of the week. And, Coach, we certainly hope everyone is healthy.
Absolutely. That's the hope for all of us. Been a lot of crazy news going around between the Falcons, the stuff going on in the NFL, the stuff in the SEC with 2 games. It's been a whirlwind.
Has that affected the way you guys have prepared? Is there more information coming in from our medical staff as far as preparations to take? I know you guys are kind of following the same thing you've been doing.
Yeah, there's a fear of letting complacency set in, just like in football, and I worry about it all the time with COVID. And I mean, to be honest, we've had the same protocols. We follow those protocols, but you can't say that I don't know that it catches the kids' attention because you get almost comfortable.
Yeah.
And it scares you, because when every one of these that pops up, we make a point to bring it up, but it could be you. It could be you next. And when it hits home like the SEC and Atlanta and things like that, it just, it's an awareness factor, and you got to protect yourself. I mean, there's not a lot of uncertainty in the fact that we got to get ready to play a big game. There's no uncertainty there. So certainly know we're getting ready to play a really good team. And
you've been asked this question, I'm sure, numerous times this week. But what are your thoughts on going back to Tuscaloosa after, a place that you spent a lot of time in your coaching career?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I haven't been back in quite a long time, and eventually you go everywhere in the SEC. And to be honest with you, I've got a lot of memories in a lot of these SEC stadiums from having coached at LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. I feel like I've been to them all, and you remember things about each and every one. Certainly played a lot of games, coached in a lot of games there in that stadium, but that won't have any outcome, any factor on the outcome of the game for sure.
How were your guys in your practices this week?
As expected. They've been focused, and they're excited about the game, and there's a little more awareness and seriousness when you go do a walkthrough. And I'm kind of always getting on them about this should be the same all the time, but the attentiveness is the antennas are up and the attentiveness is up. But sometimes that equates to a better play, and sometimes it doesn't. A lot of it has to do with who you're going against.
When there is a game of this magnitude, and everything around it is what creates the magnitude, the top 5 matchup and media building it up and all of that, do you, as a coach, lean on your leaders of your team to kind of spread an even keel throughout the squad? Do you find yourself doing that in this situation?
Well, I think they do that naturally. I don't go to them and tell them that. I try to create confidence through tough practices. And I'm just a big believer that if you can make the practices tougher than the game in terms of exposure to plays and what they have to do and tempo and energy, it's easier when you get to the game than practice is.
Is our defense being more aggressive this year, or are we just being more successful in our execution of blitzes and things of that nature?
I don't know. I'd have to look and see statistically if we're pressuring as much. I know our numbers are better, but I don't know that we're actually pressuring more. I feel like we're being more effective when we do. We're also winning some one-on-ones, and I still think back to the Auburn game. We left a lot on the table there because we couldn't get Bo on the ground.
17 tackles for loss already through 3 games, 10 sacks, 5 interceptions. That's a number you like to see going up.
Yeah, those are havoc rate numbers there. Those are things you want to do, and you would think that you would not have as good a year because you might not play some of the lesser competition because every game is going to be a SEC game when you're playing conference only. But I also think the offenses are also a little bit behind as well when it comes to timing and everything.
Which position group is, in your mind, on defense is really having a lot of success right now?
I really think it's just a total team success. I can't pinpoint one group. It's just statistically you would probably say Aziz's group and the outside backers, but the secondary has to cover them to get them back there, and they've had the interceptions, and then the run stoppers or the D tackles and the linebackers are making a lot of TFLs. So it's a group effort.
That's Coach Kirby Smart. Georgia and Alabama are on the way. The segment presented by Caterpillar. Our solutions help our customers build a better world. Hondo, back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott. Great job. Thank you, Coach. Tonight marks the 10th meeting with Alabama in Tuscaloosa. The Crimson Tide won the first 7. In the last 2, however, first in 2002, Georgia won 27-25 under Coach Mark Richt. Then in 2007, Richt and the Bulldogs registered a 26-23 decision over number 16 Alabama in overtime. That was Nick Saban's first year in Tuscaloosa. Kirby Smart hopes to extend UGA's Tuscaloosa winning streak to 3 tonight. We kick in less than an hour. Both teams out on the field getting loose at Bryant Denny. We'll be back in 2 minutes on the Bulldog Sports Network.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
If I learned one thing from this great game of baseball, it's that she'll humble you. You think you've got it figured out, you check the standings, and you're in last place again. I'm Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM, and I can put my team in position to win every single time, but I can't play the games, people. At least Progressive's Name Your Price tool has options based on my budget. It never lets me down, unlike my pitching staff. Amateurs!
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Alabama. georgiadogs.com/digital.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hey Bulldog fans, Coach Smart here. My friends at Georgia United Credit Union now offer Georgia Bulldogs Visa debit cards. Now you can show your team pride everywhere you go and spend. Pick your favorite design and score yours today. Georgia United makes banking easy, friendly, and smart for busy members like myself. Attack the day with a free checking account that pays big interest. It's the smart choice. Visit at gucu.org/Go Dogs for important account information. Insured by NCUA. Georgia United, the official credit union of Georgia Athletics.
I've enjoyed my web meetings because I only have to iron my shirt from the chest up. Neil Hondo Williamson here for my friends at Breda Pest Management. Breda seals up your entire home from critters from the foundation all the way to the roof line. And only Breda disinfects all that critter waste to give you back a clean, healthy home. The official pest control of your Georgia Bulldogs, Breda Pest Management, BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
You're listening to Georgia football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Georgia will get a crack from the 25-yard line. They'll line up in the I formation with Thomas Brown, the tailback. Play action fake to Brown. Stafford wants to go for it all right here. He throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Georgia wins! Mikey Henderson on the reception. One and done, baby.
Yes, sir. 2007, Georgia shocks Alabama on one play in overtime. Fun night. These two schools have scrimmaged 69 times. The Crimson Tide leads the all-time series, 40 wins, 25 losses, 4 ties. Tonight, they are the last two SEC unbeaten schools after only 3 weeks of football. Alabama, with its seemingly unstoppable offense that scored 42 points in the second half alone versus Ole Miss last week. Our Bulldogs, on the other hand, have surrendered only 6 second-half points all year. Number 2, Alabama. Number 3, Georgia. Strap in, folks. But beware, this ride may not be safe for the elderly, children under 6, and those with bad hearts. Our engineer here in Tuscaloosa for today's NAPA Tailgate Show is Tony Schiavone, assisted by Chris Schiavone. For Scott Howard, Lauren Smith, and Eric Zier, this is Neil Hondo Williamson. The Ford Drive to kickoff with Scott, Eric, and Chuck Dowdle right around the corner. I'll talk to you again at halftime on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.